5-4.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Yes, to episode. I fucking hate you all. To episode 76 of the Chronicles of Nidum, run by us here at Dice with Beholder and streamed on the ever accommodating, wonderful heavyweight RPG.
Heavyweight RPG.
Yes, welcome. Before we get into tonight's episode and get everyone up on screen, I haven't forgotten. It's just minimized. I didn't forget to open it at all.
Yeah, what?
What have you forgotten to open?
What you talking about?
Nothing.
I know you already opened Sirenscape because Charlie was having weird music play during her very important Candy
heart
Crush.
attack.
Yeah.
Unexpected music.
Might be the sponsor
H2.
wording.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, that's probably important.
Isn't it something about how epic games deserve epic sound?
Have you not memorised that yet?
Yeah, what a fucking loser. Imagine not knowing the words to his...
Loki battle mats are really cool, and they give
A word
us
about
lots
our
of different
sponsors.
sizes.
Loki battle maps give me a massive hard-on.
Loki Battle Mats and a award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle mats, little, big, giant sizes, and their modular book sets are full of amazing artwork that add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. If you are interested in finding out more, please obviously search Loki Battle Mats on Facebook or visit lokibattlemats.com to view their amazing artwork. And drive.
Am I imagining it, or has he left out the bit where you talk about how it makes your cock hard?
And shop their physical and digital maps.
Of course, they won't be sponsoring us for much
say.
longer.
The link may be posted in chat soon when Millie logs out of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait a solid 10 minutes, but the link will be in chat at that point. Sorry, guys.
Our second sponsor is the awesome and amazing Blink Dog Dice. They are a fantastic small dice maker based in Cardiff, and you can find awesome examples of their work available on their Etsy store. You can search Blink Dog Dice, all one word, on most social media platforms, and the same goes for Etsy as well. Please go show them some love and buy as many sets of dice as you possibly can.
Because if you don't, we'll burn your house down.
Not a sponsor, but we also have Sirenscape. They provide the amazing ambiance for our streams, and they can for your tabletop games as well. So please check out sirenscape.com, SYRIN, because, as always, epic games need epic sound.
Fortunately, what we can't offer you is players that will take the piss quite as much as we do. Sorry.
I think you can probably find those for yourself.
They're everywhere, guys.
Yeah, fortunately, if you're looking for people who play D&D, you're probably also looking for smug, sarcastic assholes.
Hey, speak for yourself, man.
Okay. A smug, sarcastic asshole.
You're on screen, by the way. I know you're all staring intently at the at whatever games you're all currently playing.
Look, we're fully here, guys.
I'm not playing a video game, Bri. I wouldn't do that. It would be irresponsible and unprofessional.
Thanks for warning me shoving fruit pastels in my mouth and picking my teeth, but yeah, okay.
We've been starting at 8 recently, you see, guys. We were all confused about the timings, and then here we are.
I actually suggested we should pack it in because I don't think anyone really likes the Chronicles of Nidum. I think everyone's just sort of like counting down the days until they can watch A Distant Hum again. So,
You trying to make Brad cry?
yeah.
Oh.
Is that not obvious?
Has that not been
Not
obvious
immediately.
for a very long time?
That's how you win D&D. You make the DM cry. That's the only way.
You're supposed to make him cry by doing something horrendous with your character, not break his spirit.
Or
This
by
is my
being really
character.
nice.
Yeah, or that. One or the other. I mean, character and personality are synonymous, right? So I'm doing it with my character, just not my D&D character.
What my character would do, guys.
So,
We're here.
last time on the Chronicles of Nidum, and I did actually have to watch the end of the previous stream.
Been a fucking while, hasn't it?
Been a
It
while.
was. But yes, last time on the Chronicles of Nidum, you woke in preparation for your first day of the celebratory games for the prince's
He's literally
birthday.
going to start by describing our breakfast and everything. I might do another scav raid.
Right, just kick him out of the call. Bring him back in afterwards, you know? It's your call.
After
I'm sorry. I'm all fucking. I don't know why I'm so spicy today.
After an impromptu parade leading you to the jam-packed auditorium in preparation for your first battle, you stepped into the arena to discover that the arena was nowhere to be seen. You appeared to be on a tropical beach, ruins to your left, water to your right. And across the way from you, a myriad of strange creatures that most of you had only read about in books or heard about in myth.
Yeah, some people would say too many creatures, wouldn't they?
Some people did, I think. Not me.
It's fine for you. You didn't have to fight them.
However, after a couple of those creatures very quickly seemed to change side upon meeting one of your number, sensing some strange kinship with Oriana, the battle was hard fought and hard won, but you emerged victors. And then when the illusion or the strange terrain around you dropped, and you found yourself surrounded by the denizens of Paras who had watched the battle, every race present was cheering your names. Dom then came in, collecting you, explaining that now you had won and survived at least your first bout, you would be taken to a garden party in the grounds of the palace, where you would be presented to the absent prince and his guests. And so, where we left off, you were being taken back to Apollateus' camp to rest.
Yay!
Hooray!
So you can, if you want, have a short rest.
I don't
Oh, no, I don't know. Yeah, I'll take the short rest.
No, yeah, I probably should actually. 57 out of 80 hit points is not.
Is this the moment at which it would be appropriate for me to open D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it would. Okay, I don't roll hit dice very often, and I can't remember.
How?
Yeah, We don't do short rests. You know, we're either
No.
asleep. Or...
Dial with the die in your hand and then sort of just tip it onto the table.
It was what number, you great spoon? There we go. A D what, you know?
What's my character's name? Oh, there we go.
5.
6.
Ooh.
My character's name is 6. Listen, I can open that character sheet if you want. You're not going to like it.
I know how to fix the Empire.
The world is a mess and 6 just needs to rule it.
Okay, I'm back to full. I may have used one too many hit dice, but we're here.
Okay.
Oh, I have that wizard feat, don't I? Where
I haven't got Twitch open. Sorry, guys.
I can take arcane recovery.
Oh, look at you showing off with your feet.
Yep, I'm going to. It's not a feat. It's just a
They're very
feature
nice
of being
feet.
a wizard. Gross.
No feet are nice.
Yeah, true. Here we go. Short rest. Roll some hitty dice. I have 2d8. The 4d8 is a rogue. So roll some of those.
Jesus Christ, while you're doing this, I'm going for a pee.
Okay.
Reasonable. Well, I've got as far as sharing Loki battle mats in the chat. We're just working our way up to Blink Dog Dice, guys. And then we're going to be sorted. There we go. Look at that.
I can do ace. That's fine.
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you. I'm back up to max.
Yay!
Okay. As you are then there, resting, eating the provisions that Dom has laid out for you, as like a concerned mother hen, Dom paces back and forth from the gate, waiting for the other competitors she sent to their bouts to return that day. You notice that after a long while of you being back, a few do return. They are heavily wounded, but upright. A second group do come back under sheets carried on shields by camp followers, servants. They are, as Dom explained previously, immediately greeted by one of the clerics of Apolliteus' camp, who ushers those bodies through a door out of sight.
Only a little bit dead.
Eventually,
I don't think they're even a little bit dead.
Eventually, once all the bouts you believe or are told by passers-by are done, you discover that less than half of Apolliteus' camp have returned in relatively one piece.
Nice.
Dom is not saddened, but after liaising with a couple of the clerics, does seem heartened by whatever news she's been given. However, those that were taken under cover and on their shields into that room with the clerics do not return that way. And you do not see them again for the entire time you are there. With this, Dom walks over to you. So, is there anything you wish for us to get you before party this evening, or?
Should we wear something a little more fancy?
You are to be decoration.
A bath?
Yeah, I could use a bath.
I wipe sand and dirt and a little bit of blood off my face and go, I'm not entirely sure that's necessary.
Da. It has been requested, perhaps by Prince, perhaps by other interested party, that you are the only ones to represent Polite's school tonight.
We are the prettiest group.
We will not be, or I will not be sending the others with you. They perhaps need longer to recover than you.
Is the Inquisitor going to be in attendance, do you know?
The court of the Prince and or the royal court, it is made up of many officials, many of those high up in the imperial military, and also a not inconsiderate number of Inquisition.
I assume that killing him at such a venue would be frowned upon. I'm kidding, Tom.
I wouldn't frown upon it. If that counts for anything.
Others certainly would, I think.
I saw your fight today, and I was impressed. Unfortunately, the number of enemies you will be faced with this evening, though they may not be obvious, will be far greater than...
So you're saying it would be better to slide the dagger into him from behind when no one could see it happen? That's what you're telling me, yes? Again, I'm kidding, Dom. We're probably not going to kill the Inquisitor.
Not with a dagger anyway, it probably wouldn't do the job.
Also, probably not in front of the Prince, you know?
I'm not making any promises.
I will see about running bath.
Thank you.
Oh, what are the bathing facilities here?
there is a pit dug into ground. We have created, well, we have repaired tiles. It is waterproof once more. Now I go fill it with hot water.
Okay. Just I'd prefer a stationary bath,
As opposed to.
as opposed to a running bath. I don't want to have to chase it around in order to get in.
Pit dug into water does not run.
I'm so glad it got one of you.
It is pit dug into water. It does not have legs.
You dug a pit into water?
Dug
impressive.
into ground.
How do you
Ignore
prevent
him.
the rest of the water from rushing back in and filling it?
Tom, just go.
Well, just walk away.
Save yourself, my friend.
I will leave now. And she walks off.
Hey, so, Oriana, I like your new friends.
Yes. Yeah, I'm forming a collection.
I tried to pet the nightmare to see if it'll let me.
The nightmare kind of, at first, backs off, raises his head away from you, and looks at Oriana.
Yeah, it's a friend. It's fine.
The nightmare
Hi.
doesn't come any closer, but it stops moving away.
Dice is friend, not food.
I scratch its nose and go, nice pony. Very beautiful and noble steed. Yes.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You did touch a nightmare.
I'm fine with it.
Worth it.
My con save is worth it, and my con's surprisingly good. Let's see. Con save. Yeah, that's a 19.
Scritching its nose is like brushing your fingers across a freshly boiled kettle.
So it's quick movements, and you go scratch, scratch, scratch.
What's that doing to Oriana's, whole, region that is in contact with the horse?
I've got
She will
resistance.
never need to wax again.
Well, considering Oriana rode the nightmare,
That's what I'm
session.
saying. Like, while riding it, that must have been an experience.
I've got resistance.
it is actually, for Oriana, exactly the same as riding horses in your youth. There is no adverse heat. However, you, Oriana, have sensed when you move away from the nightmare, it's almost as if it possibly reactivates some kind of defense that it lowers when you're there. It's almost as if the nightmare is hotter to you while you're not standing right next to it. Than the closer you get, the cooler it gets.
Just to check for rationality's sake here, I do have resistance to fire, so would it be particularly unpleasant?
Were you stroking it with your fingers?
Well, I still have the armour plate over. We've just come out of combat, so I'm still stroking it with the armour.
Okay.
I'm not stupid.
Let's say you would.
That's not true though, is it?
What?
That we're not stupid.
Oh, well,
Well,
yeah.
rude.
I'm going to shut the door.
Rude, accurate.
The
Listen, a thing can be both rude and accurate.
Cerberus is just kind of sitting there next to Oriana, and is just tongue lolling out of one side of both of its mouths. But every drip of saliva starts to cool into tiny little kind of volcanic stone on the sandy floor.
I
Cool.
wonder where the dog is going to sleep. It's a nice dog, but it's going to burn floor.
One of the dog's heads looks at you, as if it senses you speaking about it. The other one, follows a fly.
I wave to the dog.
Kind of narrows its eyes at you. The other one still happily following a fly.
Ariana, why do all your pets want to eat me?
I don't know what.
I said I had concerns about the dog. Its saliva is dripping into some sort of hardened rock, and I worry what it's going to do to carpets. And now it's glaring at me. But only with one head.
It's going to be very funny to watch all the delicate and fancy people reacting to this handsome wee beast.
I mean, I wasn't planning on bringing them with me.
Oh, but please.
At the very least, you should ride. You should give your nightmare a name. You should ride your friend here for the true impact of the hero, surely.
I mean, Dice, I'm flattered by the suggestion, but I'm sure Ariana's busy this evening. You meant the horse.
Yeah, I think you should ride the horse. I sort of look at Quill. Quill. Sorry. I look at Quill and...
I mean, you're... I suppose it's a garden party, so we're outside.
Everyone loves dogs, right?
I just don't want people poking and prodding at them.
Well, they will learn. They will learn pretty rapidly not to, I suspect.
Yeah, but I also
looks like Dice has already learned that lesson.
I also have a fear that, someone's going to get themselves hurt, and then they're going to try and blame it on the dog, and then they're going to want the dog put to sleep.
Well, perhaps the dog would be safe here. Perhaps one would watch the dog, and you could just bring the nightmare, who I think wouldn't care so much, perhaps.
The dog suddenly collapses to one side in a tangle of tongues and paws, as the one that was scowling at you was trying to pay attention to everyone's conversation, but the other one toppled them over, trying to nip at a fly that was 5 feet away, forgetting that he's not the only one in control of this body.
Oh no, he's stupid, I love him.
I think it might be better for him to stay here and get some rest and be fed.
Fuck that, Oriana. This dog is now my favourite member of the party. It's coming with us everywhere we go.
As the dog gets up, the right head is now scowling at you, Quill. However, and trying not to move closer, the other head, the one that was trying to nip at the fly, has heard himself being called a dumb good boy and is now trying to edge closer to you for scritches.
If he manages to get within my range, I'm going to pop my claws out and give him delicate scritches with the claws so that my flesh doesn't actually come into contact with him.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find out if there's somewhere I can keep him tonight.
He can stay in our room. He can stay in our room. He'll be okay. We can't leave him outside. He's a dog.
As you ask this question, Dom does return.
Dom.
Bath is full.
Oh, it's in use? I'm sorry to hear that.
If we got your doggo to sit on the edge of the bath, imagine the temperature the water would reach. You could actually have, like, one of those heated pools.
Only the nightmare is hot. As you, Quill, start scratching the dog, his coat is like wire. It's incredibly thick fur. You feel like more delicate skin. Would probably
I'm scratching like his chest right here, just below where his neck is.
But all of it is like coarse like wire. But he's a normal dog temperature.
This is a good boy.
You can sleep on the bed.
This boy is very good. I like this boy a lot.
One of the heads is completely ignoring you, Quill, and is just looking at Oriana like, can you get your friends off me, please? The other one has his eyes closed and wants his head in your hand.
Yeah. I use my other hand to scratch behind his ear.
I'm going to turn to the dog, going, your brother obviously really wants scritches, but do you want to come to a party tonight, or do you want to stay here and relax?
He motions to kind of lay down And unfortunately, the head is then pulled from your hand, Quill, as the other one is just taken down to the floor.
I literally kneel on the floor next to him. But you want to come to your party, don't you? You want to meet lots of people who will tell you what a handsome, good boy you are.
Quill, stop touching my dog.
Aww. That is the saddest kitten face ever.
Dom, is there somewhere my nightmare and doggy here can go and rest? Like in the stables together somewhere? Also, I need to feed them
What do they eat?
meat.
Nightmare Cerberus flesh.
Sure. Could have been rocks, I don't know.
You could have just said meat. Like, it's the same thing. You don't have to say it in that macabre kind of way.
Quill!
But yes, could you just get them comforted and in for the night?
I will have workers try and fireproof stable. We will have buckets of water on standby.
Back to the head I was fussing. You be a good boy for Auntie Dom Donut.
Named one of the heads donut.
I'm going to turn to the Cerberus and Nightmare going, you go with Dom and you'll get some rest and fed and you can sleep tonight.
The Nightmare nods. Dom proceeds to walk off, not quite wanting to touch either of them, even with her size and stature and confidence, still quite wary of them. The Nightmare notices the Cerberus unmoving, because it appears that the dominant head is the one that's being scratched right now, and kind of stamps one of their hooves next to it. You see a flare of kind of embers and flame come up from under the hoof, and the Cerberus jumps to its feet, runs around the Nightmare's legs twice, and then is guided off after Dom to the far side of the training grounds.
I'm going to head towards the bath.
I follow you, sort of skipping and cheerful. I like winning fights. I'm in a good
For a
mood.
wander, I'll out after the ladies.
Is there anything in particular you would like to do to prepare for the party, or
Bathe.
apart from bathe? No?
No. Clean
Okay.
clothes.
I'm going to see if I can find someone to give me a haircut.
That is going to take a while.
In the compound. I'm going to try and
In
find
the
someone
compound?
in the compound. I'll probably find someone like who's of a roguish bent, you know, like someone who's really good with, like, very dexterous
Okay.
as a fighter. You know, good with knives. I figure that they're transferable skills.
Okay. You do find one.
Mhm.
You find one? I'm sorry, Bri. I'm sorry, Greg's getting into my head. I'll stop.
You two are on something tonight.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm all fucking shunt.
You find one man. He is sitting off in the corner, appears to be juggling knives, while attempting to keep one dagger spinning on a table constantly. He's doing a very good job of it. And when you approach, he catches both the knives, a knife in each hand, and then one in his teeth, and smiles at you.
Impressive.
Thank you very much, my friend.
You have
can I do for you?
You have talented hands. Have you ever given a haircut?
I have been known to give a haircut in my time. A lethal one, or
No, one that I survive. I'm
for style.
Literally my hair being cut.
For
Not
style, I can
For
do.
style, yes.
Yes, sit, please.
Okay, I will sit.
Are we attempting to look threatening? Are we attempting to woo the ladies? What are we attempting to do?
Closer to the second one. I just want to look dashing.
Ah, Dashi. Very good. Please, try not to move too much.
I will attempt.
Okay. He starts sharpening the knives in front of you. The sound and the speed, the flashes of the blades in your eyes, it just becomes a blur. And natural 20.
Hey!
You can have a good haircut.
It takes all of 20 minutes. He is silent throughout the entire thing. He is not.
He's just singing to himself about how his name is Adolfo Pirelli, the king of the barbers, the barber of kings.
He. At first, the silence kind of unnerves you. However, as you kind of try and follow his motions, you realize that his silence is concentration. And you see his hands move ever faster. And after a while, you begin to trust his skill. Until eventually, after about 20 minutes, he steps back, looks at you through one eye. Perfect.
To trim the hair, to shave the face.
Please, come see. And he motions you over to another table that has a polished tray on it. Polished to such a shine that it can be used as a mirror. And holds it up for you. You are quite dashing after what is now a couple of months on the road, having not been to one of your family's stylists or a upper class barber. You were becoming slightly unkempt, not something you were used to. But now you do see staring back at you out of the mirror the same fresh-faced tabaxi that first left their family's estate back in Albion.
You're very talented. More so than I had thought.
It is perhaps why I survived my bout today, yes?
I would suspect so.
Well, the rest of my companions, they are dead, so...
Oh boy.
Well, they are, and he winks.
Hopefully
dead.
they'll... hopefully they get over it. I wish them a speedy recovery from their unfortunate condition.
Ah, yes. Get over it. Very good.
I give him 5 gold.
No. This is too much, my friend.
This is the correct amount. It is important to recognize and reward talent.
There are places where this talent earns 5 gold?
Not as a standard charge, but if you find the right clientele,
but this skill, it can make me money, yes?
Certainly, and if you find the right clients, they can be very generous tippers.
Perhaps tomorrow, if I lose my bout, perhaps in my next life I will be a stylist.
I think you have an eye for it.
It is a lot less dangerous than what I had planned.
Speaking of danger, you seem like a man who might know where to source something that I've been interested in recently. I'm looking for something very, very pointy that can be easily concealed and rapidly deployed.
How long are we talking?
About this long, something that fits in the sleeve. I just wondered if you might know of any suppliers for such a thing.
For throwing or for thrusting? Or both?
If it was capable of both, that would be a bonus, but it's for if I find myself in a tight spot in close quarters, primarily.
I mean, I could do nothing for you magically, but if all you need is good solid steel, then please. And he, from his belt, twirls a throwing dagger with a very small hilt that would just protect the hand from sliding along it if it was used for thrust as well, and presents it to you.
This will be a good start for it. What do you want for it?
You have already paid me too much for my work, my friend. Please, as long as you put this to good use, and do not use it on me, it is yours, a gift.
I think I can promise that at least. Unless we come up against each other in a bout.
Unfortunately...
I suspect in that case I would need every trick at my disposal.
Though it would appear that... well, it is only rumor, but... it would appear that you are not having the same bouts as us, my friend.
How do you mean?
Put it this way. Most of the battles today were school against school. Gladiator against gladiator. It was, very common fare. We are all same skill, all same kind of level, as it were. I've heard
so you think we've been singled out here?
Well, put it this way, there were no lava-breathing dogs or fiery-maned horses in my bout.
Thank you for the information.
You're welcome. I hope it helps you.
If you do end up seeking a change of career, information gathering and distribution can be a good way to supplement.
I have heard also that barbers and hairdressers tend to talk a lot, and the people in their chairs also.
They tend to know things, often things that other people find valuable.
Then perhaps I will do both of these things. Anyway.
I think you'd be well suited to it.
In the first time in a long time, alcohol is being sent by the prince, as we are not invited. So alcohol is being sent here for us to celebrate tonight. So, if you'll excuse me, I would like a first pick of the southern wines.
What was your name, friend?
I'm Raoul.
Raoul, I'll look for you when this is all over.
If I do not survive my bout tomorrow, perhaps look for me to the east. Somewhere warmer.
I'll bear that in mind.
And he, with the tip of his head, walks off towards the storerooms. You do then see that the front gates are open, and a very fine delivery cart with the Imperial livery on the side of it does pull in with a few barrels and a few casks, and you can hear wine bottles clinking as they're unloaded by many of the more able-bodied gladiators. And the atmosphere does get much more upbeat. Dom comes over. I believe it is time for us to gather your friends and make your way to party.
I didn't have time for a bath. I will cast Prestidigitation to clean myself up.
It is a good trick.
It can be. It can do several things.
Right.
Yes.
Just check. I can make my armor look however I want it to, right?
Yeah, in after what fashion? Sorry.
Just in appearance, so literally making it look a bit more like traditional armor, less like something unusual. So just smooth it out a bit and make it look less obvious. So create pretend rivets in how it looks. It's just visible differences.
Okay, roll me a tinkering check.
Okay. Really?
Because
Okay.
this is you working on your magical armor.
Sure. So a tinkering check, just check, is the base roll and then the proficiency bonus, or is there a dexterity check in there as well?
It's dexterity and proficiency, I think.
It's dexterity and proficiency doubled because you are proficient in tinkering
Yeah.
tools.
So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
23. It takes you a while. You get out of the bath, obviously, before Ariana to try and do this. It takes you a while, a few false starts of concentration, but eventually you do manage to change your armor so that it does look more worked than arcane.
That's what I'm aiming for, thank you.
The skin below, or the skin tight sections of the armor, now look, or maybe from a distance, not too critical a glance, would maybe look like bronze chainmail, quite fitted chainmail, for example.
Perfect, thank you.
But eventually Don does then knock on the bathhouse door. Are you ready?
Yeah. I get out of the bath and just use prestidigitation to dry myself instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Still sitting there, like, fiddling with bits and not paying any attention to the door, but I'm just stood outside the bath. I haven't moved, I just stayed there. Like,
Ace has been polishing their armor.
Yeah.
they do like to do that. And as I see Ori get out, I'll be like, what? Where are we going? What's happening?
It's time to leave. Party.
I love parties! Not this one. This one's going to suck, I suspect, but we'll see.
We'll
And
make
I'll...
what of it what we can.
I'm excited.
As you move out into the courtyard of the training compound, the liveried cart is still there. There are now, or it is now surrounded by maybe 8, after you spy a little, 10 of the Prince's Guard. On the highest
I really thought you were going to say Inquisitor's Guards.
The highest ranking officer among them steps forward as you make your presence known. Bonjour, the prince has sent us to escort you. You are to stand in the back of the cart as he takes you to the palace.
Does he have like ranking insignia on? Can we tell what rank he is?
He's captain.
Okay, very good, Captain. Appreciate your diligence in this matter.
Please keep your hands inside the carriage at all times. There are perhaps those who lost money on your bout today, and there is a magical. I am not au fait with the magic that has gone into it, but there is a magical field around the cart that will stop rotten fruit, for example, from being thrown at you. I'm
going to make sure... Sorry.
I was going to say, are you and your men protected from splashback, as it were?
No, but unfortunately, it is a soldier's lot in life to unfortunately be subject to projectile weapons sometimes.
You're welcome to join us in the cart.
As you say that and look at the cart, it is... You could maybe fit 2 of them in there with you.
I didn't mean all of them, I meant the captain.
No, monsieur. I stand by my men. I will go through the same things that... I would not ask my men to go through anything that I would not go through myself.
I am...
Noble.
As I get on the back of the cart, then, I'm going to make sure my helmet is down. I want everyone to see that I'm human.
I jump on the back of the car.
Same.
Tom stands there. Be careful, please.
Tom, are we always not careful?
Don't even answer. Just don't.
When have you ever known us to act recklessly or with disregard for our well-being?
You struck an Inquisitor in the face within 5 minutes of him walking into compound.
No, that was someone else.
No, that was him. And points at Quill.
Me?
We will be
There.
on our best behavior.
Okay, but apart from that,
We will be on our best behavior, Don. We're not
I'll be on
actually,
my behaviour.
despite how it may appear, we're not actually in a rush to die.
Good luck. And as Dom says that, the cart begins to move at a not very rapid pace. It's easy for the guards travelling with you to keep up at a very, very brisk walk. And as you get out of the compound, you realise that the carriage could not actually go that much faster if it wanted to. These streets are filled with people waiting to catch a glimpse of you, and as you all move out, people begin to cheer and chant your names. Immediately you start to hear the sounds of objects impacting some kind of magical force field, and as you look up around you, you see coins begin to be thrown at you. Bits of silver, mostly copper. But as they hit then the side of the cart, they kind of just very gently roll down what looks like thin air and gather in what appear to be two kind of small wooden troughs on either side of the cart.
Stripper cup.
You can imagine they're not actually used for this purpose. These troughs would be used to hold something like ladders, perhaps long circular poles for construction. However, at this time, they are making very good coin gathering troughs.
I'm gonna, as we're going along, I'm going to be just shooting off little tiny puffs of firework with prestidigitation.
Okay.
Just waving.
As you do so, then you do inadvertently test and discover that the force field is only one way, as whatever you shoot off into the sky appears to pass harmlessly through whatever is stopping the coins from striking you. Every once in a while, you do see a much more disgruntled-looking member of the public. Just after like a rotten tomato explodes and impacts on the force field, you do look from the direction it was tossed, and you see a very angry-looking, not very well-to-do elf.
Anyone who throws rotten veg, I would like to very specifically look at them and go,
You gonna poke your tongue out at them?
yeah.
Okay. There is a middle-aged elven woman who has a short blonde, kind of very severe bob haircut, and she immediately starts screaming and ranting at someone like near her in the crowd and pointing, and you can mouth the words, "Can you fucking believe that? I want to speak to her manager."
Right. I am going to cast Phantasmal Force on that woman. Please roll an intelligence saving throw.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh god.
I've already clicked the button. I couldn't be more serious.
That is going to be... Well, I rolled a 15.
Okay.
She is a commoner.
Yeah.
So that's a negative modifier.
That's good news.
That's going to be like a 13.
Cool. So she sees the image of a large demonic tomato charging towards her through the crowd, and it's cackling in a very like deep, frightening, like, ha ha ha! I'm going to eat your soul.
This poor woman has never seen the like. She has never seen the like!
As she is sprinting and raving then at her friend, her eyes suddenly widen. And you can see her reaction as she takes in this huge demonic tomato that is rushing towards her. Doesn't seem to understand why no one else can see it. And immediately turns tail and just runs down the nearest alleyway as fast as her legs can carry her.
Satisfying. That's the best use of a second level spell I've made in this campaign.
Did I see this happen?
That's a second level spell.
No one except her could see it.
No. Did I see you cast something? And see how
Probably, yeah. I wasn't being subtle.
Because I was still poking my tongue out at her, right? So,
Yeah.
I just go, seriously, what did you do to that poor woman?
I returned her gift of produce with interest.
You threw a tomato at her?
In a manner of speaking.
That's the exact words in my head, then, in a manner of speaking.
Alright.
Sort of.
Eventually, though,
From a certain point of view.
the streets do begin to quiet. And while everyone, or the very many fewer denizens then thronging the roads on either side of you, do stop and wave. A few do toss coins, and you start to see gold and silver as opposed to copper be tossed towards the cart. They are much better dressed. There are very few other races than elf now. Their smiles and their cheers are a lot more muted.
Can I say to Oriana, you know, the money being thrown at us makes a nice change from people shouting, "Arrest them!"
It is, yeah. It's
Novel.
I could get used to this.
Still very much playing up to the
mean-
crowd. I'm completely ignoring them, just firing fireworks in the air.
I'm a little used to people throwing money at me, but
Sure, people rarely throw money at me. Tomatoes, yes. Money, no.
but it is nice.
But you do notice then that you are being taken through the much nicer streets that you frequented only a few nights past. You can see the Opera House then on your left as you pass by. And you see above the very tall buildings in front of you the crystal spire of the Palace of the Empire.
How far away? Are we nearly there? Because I know it's just a cantrip, but this is beginning to take it out of me, actually.
Eventually then, the buildings fall away. You come out into the twilight sun as it begins to set over the horizon. And you can see higher than your eyes want to go. You start to get vertigo. The crystal spire in front of you. It is maybe 500 feet away at ground level. You can see there is a huge, beautiful marble wall thronging the palace grounds. And you now join what is currently a short queue of carriages pulling up to the front gates of the palace. You can see in front of you, instead of carriages like yours, or instead of transport carts like yours, there are a few carriages, and you see people incredibly well dressed, dripping in jewellery, step from them, immediately thronged by their own guards, and quickly ushered through the door without being asked for an invitation.
Point to someone wearing a brooch that's like fashioned as some kind of beetle with like gems emblazoned, like embedded in it, and I say to Ariana, "Ooh, I don't know what that is, but I know I'm gonna steal it."
Just don't get caught.
It's me.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
When have you ever seen me get caught stealing?
Not stealing, but getting caught. Like the train. Several times.
No,
was
I'm
that
sorry,
like?
I don't recall anything of what you're speaking.
Okay.
Eventually you get to the front of the queue. However, instead of stopping outside the gates, the driver of your carriage then takes advantage of the space and moves on past the front gate and around a guardhouse into a darker, what looks like stable area. The guards then hook some steps onto the back of the carriage to allow you to more easily disembark. And another man in royal livery, who looks like a servant, steps out. He's human. Bonjour.
Hi.
And a bonjour to you too.
You are Oriana, Dice, Quill, and Ace.
Elanil, please.
Elanil, I apologize, monsieur. Forgive me. I am. I have the pleasure of being your guide for the proceedings this evening. I have been presented or ordered personally by the prince, and you can see as he says this, there is, like, he puffs out his chest. There is a beaming sense of pride from him that he's been selected by the prince for this task. He felt, or the message he left with my superior was, he felt a human guide would be much more comfortable to all of you, as opposed to an elven one who might treat you with perhaps disrespect or disdain.
It's a welcome consideration.
Oui, the absent prince is very considerate, especially to his staff.
An insight check against what you just said.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How cynical of you.
I'm not cynical, I'm pragmatic. I've been saying this for a long time. Oh, that was the most pointless natural 20 ever, because I'm pretty sure he's telling the truth. 21.
The sense you get from him when he speaks about the prince is utmost sincerity. This is probably, you can see by his wrist cuffs that yes, he is a slave. And yeah, he is a slave that is probably from, the health in it. You can see the healthy glow in his cheeks, the roundness of his belly under his very well cut suit. He's probably a lot better looked after than a lot of the human inhabitants, a lot of the human subjects of the Empire that you've met so far.
Are we in relative privacy with him, or are the guards still there?
The guards are helping the driver with the horses and the carriage. You are in relative privacy.
May I ask you a slightly personal question?
Oui, monsieur.
Have you ever had any reason to suspect that you might have magical abilities?
No, monsieur.
No?
I...
when you were a child, perhaps you had some fancy that you might be able to affect the world around you in some way?
Surely that is the dream of every child, is it not?
Wait, did you ever get that feeling where you wake up and it feels like you're falling and you hit the bed?
Oui, it is common.
When you had this fancy, when you played this imaginary game, did you have any specific set of abilities that you came back to time and again?
Is this a test, monsieur?
Yes.
Well, I would perhaps believe that I could tell stories and enchant people so that they would have to listen to my stories.
Interesting.
It has been a very long time since I have even thought of it. Can I ask?
It's nice to reminisce every now and then about our childhoods, isn't it?
Oui. I am. And you can see you've very much confused him. There is somewhere I need to take you.
Yes, I'm sorry to have interrupted you.
No, but I apologize. I have not even introduced myself. I am Cecil.
Nothing to apologise for, Cecil. We barely gave you time.
But please come this way. I will take you to your section. And once we are there, I will explain. As I believe I've been told, you have not been to a function such as this previously.
We have not.
You were correct.
Then I will take you to your section and explain how the evening will proceed. And he takes you through a much smaller gate into a short corridor that then leads into the gardens. As you get through into the palace gardens, you are immediately surrounded by trees and bushes. It is very difficult to see much of your surroundings past maybe about 10 feet. He takes you up a flight of stairs, maybe 20 feet later down another flight of marble stairs, under a very beautifully carved marble bridge, until eventually you begin to hear the sounds of a celebration occurring. You begin to hear the sounds of bards playing somewhere in the background, off to one side. It is all at once a comfortable noise. It's perhaps music imported from Albion. And at the same time, you start to hear people cheering, the sounds of drunk people entertaining each other, until eventually you are taken up a much longer flight of marble stairs, and you start to see the palace gardens arrayed out before you. They are on about 5 different levels, stretching out maybe 600 feet in front of you. There are perhaps, as you look around, as far as you can tell at first glance, 200 people milling about the gardens, and the entire place is surrounded by a high garden wall, patrolled by, from what you can see, many of the Prince's Guard, but an equal number of Inquisitors. As he walks you off then to a clearing in the garden, where tables, chairs, and you can see food has been prepared off to one side, and no one else is in this circular clearing. I want everyone to make me a perception check.
Can do that.
Be delighted to.
Fuck, sorry.
Oh, fuck.
That's not a very good perception check there, baby.
14.
14.
So nat 1 for a total of 3.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I'm too caught up in everything else.
It's very exciting.
Quill then.
Agreed.
As you look around, there are a few things that immediately properly stand out. One of them, almost shockingly so, and why no one else seems to be able to, or have discerned this, you have no idea. On the far side of the garden, it appears that the trees have been frozen. The ground in the night sky is lit by these blue, icy orbs. The grass is covered in frost. The frost eventually moves and gives way to snow, which gives way to large blocks of ice that people, as you can see quite far away now, are finding it hard to work their way around. But everyone seems in high spirits and laughing. And it is then that you notice in this strange, eerie blue light that the largest of these ice, what looks like sculptures, moves. And then you work out it is not a sculpture, as he, or the large figure sitting on an icy throne, sits forward, placing his huge chin on his hand and his elbow and his knee as he sits forward, not thinking, but glaring at Ace.
He's giant. I'ma fuck it.
I think you've made a friend, Ace.
Ace goes, huh? Actually, we didn't roll Ace's perception. Maybe Ace saw it.
One of the other things you notice, Quill, the ice giant is in almost the complete opposite corner of the garden to you. As you look around, you notice there are a lot of these clearings. They appear to ring the outside of the gardens. In each of these clearings appears to be sitting alone for the most part, but what looks like some kind of warrior or gladiator. There is a familiar team of Dragonborn sitting in one, quite close to the ice giants, not one of them looking in his direction so as not to gain his attention. In another, quite close by to yours, maybe 50 feet away to your right, there is one lone figure. Not much taller than you or Oriana, but entirely made of metal. Very much like one of the automatons you've seen around the Empire, or very much like Vizier, once he had taken on form. However, instead of the smooth or very practical nature of the forms of all of the other automatons you've seen, this one is covered in spikes and blades. On its back...
Fucking robot wars up in this bitch.
On its back appear to be two huge, currently laying dormant, but two huge bladed wings. And at its side, stuck into the ground, is... the closest thing you can liken it to is an elven double-bladed scimitar. However, this one, while being double-ended, or double-bladed, also then has a nest or a burst of spikes from each point, giving it maybe 6 blade edges in total.
If I find out that that thing's called Sir Kill-A-Lot, I am going to quit this podcast stream.
Podcast stream.
Yeah, this podcast, you know.
Well, he wasn't, but he is now.
Yeah.
I think it would be much better if you called him Matilda. The weapons aren't quite right, but I just want him to be called Matilda.
You also see, and you've worked out now, maybe about 50 feet between all of the teams, there's one clearing that is not clear. It appears to be full of, or completely taken up by some kind of large, and you have no idea what it is, whether it's boxes, whether it's a structure, but it's entirely covered in the tarpaulin. However, eventually you are all then led into your clearing, and between the hedges that denote the entrance to your clearing, Cecil then does put a velvet rope back across the front and steps in with you. The only people in this clearing currently are the 4 of you, Cecil, and there is what appears to be a human chef standing behind a large table of food that is fresh. You can see there are currently steaming freshly cooked and roasted pheasants and lots of different meats, lots of different vegetables. There are bottles and jugs of different drinks. This is to be your, I suppose, camp for the evening.
I
People
prefer court.
court, oui. Normally, people in the court, they are not allowed past the rope. However, they will perhaps come to offer their congratulations, their critique of your fighting technique, as some are wont to do after they drink a bit, and also to see what you are made of, so that they may give you a boon, or some like to gift coin or jewelry, or there are then those that would like to come and mock and scorn. There is never any violence at these events. Not in at least 3 events has there been any violence.
Events since violent incident 3.
It's about to change. No, but
Why would it?
I am your servant. I am here for your every wish and need, but you are asked by the household guard and the Inquisition to not leave this place this evening.
Wouldn't
we stay
dream
in
of
the
it.
tent.
Pardon, madame?
So we stay in the tent.
It's not even a tent. It's open to the elements.
Okay.
It's
So we
just
stay in
it's
here.
just a clearing. You're like kind of ringed by a low hedge.
Okay.
But you do
That's
see
fine.
there's a maze, because it's like an ornamental garden. There's a maze of walkways that wander around, and as you kind of look over the hedges, you can see people are just wandering around, picking up food or drink off the many tables dotted around that all have servants running to and from them. And they all just appear to be wandering past all of the encampments of the gladiators. You do see some stop every once in a while for a moment. There are, however, not many stopping near the ice giant, and there are not many stopping near the automaton that you've clocked.
Okay.
Is there anything you would ask of me? I have to beg leave of you for around 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I have to go and, I have been requested by the prince to, as soon as you are situated, make him aware of your arrival, so that he may start the celebrations.
Please.
Yeah. Are we free to eat and drink as well?
Oui. Please, if there is something here that is not to your liking, we can have anything fetched for you from any
Fine.
corner
I'm sure
of the
we'll
empire.
find something.
It
I'm
looks
sure we'll
perfect,
find
Cecil.
something. You get along to the prince. We'll be fine.
Please, thank you, merci.
Thank you.
And he hops off with a skip in his step. Very proud of himself for a job well done.
I like Cecil.
He's about 15, and
hardworking lad.
quite short for it. And you can see, even as he walks now, he has an incredibly, probably very practiced kind of authoritative kind of strut on him. But he still manages to walk faster than every other servant out there. Like he's on a mission. He's got somewhere to be, and he's getting there. But he's like 5'1". He's tiny.
Telling stories, he said. Charming people.
Do you think that's what he would have become with the correct training? Or could still become now?
Seems likely.
It does. Everyone has these skills that they don't use, right? That's what we've worked out. Well, most people. Obviously not everyone.
Seems we have yet to meet a human being who's had opportunity to practice such arcane abilities and not found one.
So the other pens with the other gladiators, are they like connected to ours, or is there a space in between them?
There is a substantial space in between them. Maybe about 50 to 60 feet between each pen.
Okay.
And as you look around, trying to work out the kind of the lay of the land, the group of Dragonborn that you have met previously the old kind of drake hunters and the wyvern hunters, the monster hunters that you met.
The
way
ones that
back
want to bring
when.
Tiamat back.
Yes, those ones. They do kind of catch your eye, and one of them kind of nudges the other one, and you can see them both pointing. And then it's like a whisper goes around the entire group, and they all turn around and kind of, "Hey! Hello! Hello, do you remember us? Hello!" And
We start waving back.
they raise their drinks to you. "Hey, she remembers us!" And they all start necking their drinks.
I thought you were
One
just going
day
to say they
they'll
all start necking then. They all start necking each other.
I did.
Just how they
I'm
celebrate.
trying to remember. Did I previously describe them as a bunch of monster
They're a
hunting
frat group.
monster?
They're a frat group.
Yeah, monster
Yeah.
hunting frat boys. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you pretty much did.
Yeah,
Cool.
because after speaking to them and finding out that, because we found out they wanted to bring Tiamat back, and then we sat and spoke with them, and they're like, they're never gonna succeed.
Yeah, not.
If they manage to, it'll be on accident.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It'd be a complete surprise to everyone involved, including them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the
They just they want to bring Tiamat back because that's what they're supposed to want, rather than because they've ever thought about it.
What their dads told them they needed to do when they were growing up.
Yeah. It's either that or get an internship at his law firm for the summer, and
Which
Seems
one's
like
more
work.
fun, right?
yeah.
almost at the same time, then, that you notice some
Frat
of the
boys.
denizens of the gardens now, or some of the royal court, start to seem to notice that your pen or your is now full. They start to wander towards you. At the same moment, when they're about maybe 10 feet away, about to engage you in conversation perhaps, or just come and look, you see off towards the palace, on a raised dais, 2 fireworks kind of explode and zoom up into the sky. And as they explode in the sky, they denote, they form the seal of the royal family.
Clever.
And when the fireworks disappear, you see standing on the raised dais the absent prince. Bonjour, mon ami. It is a pleasure, as always, to have you here on the first of these wonderful events to celebrate the birth of my brother. Unfortunately, as the young and incredibly boisterous are wont to do, he has decided not to attend the first evening of his birthday, and has decided to stop off on his return from the front, let us say, in a house of some repute. There is kind of nervous, kind of almost automatic applause and chuckle from everyone, apart from the frat boys, who, after one of them explains it to the rest of them, there is a very delayed and uproarious cheer. Get in!
Get in there!
But please, do not allow the absence of the birthday boy to quell your drinking and celebration. He will be return eventually, hopefully, for the last evening of celebrations and the unveiling of his present. And as you see him say the unveiling of his present, you can see the prince kind of looks up towards the spire of the palace, the tallest peak. And as a lot of the people begin to follow his gaze, you can see attached to the top of the palace, currently in shadow, but what appears to be also draped in one of the largest tarps you have ever seen. This thing is like the size of a city block. There is something attached to the top of the palace. Just hanging there in the air. But
Is
please,
it an airship?
you can't see, it's covered in tarp. But please, drink, meet the wonderful competitors from the fantastic bouts today, and be merry, celebrate my brother, and also leave at least one drink for me, as I will be among you this evening. Let the party commence. And everyone cheers once more. The prince immediately steps off the dais and begins to walk towards your pen.
I turn to Aria and Colonise and just say, does anyone else feel a little bit like an animal in a cage? Stand here, look pretty. Don't step outside your designated bars.
Meow.
Look pretty. Make sure people can come and talk to you and look at you. If you could show off your, butt periodically, that would be great.
It is a magnificent. I do have a magnificent butt.
Oh yeah, it just stands there for a second, like it sort of seems ideal. Okay.
I quite
I
appreciate it. It's the worst part of these parties is having to go around and mingle and greet people and make small talk. At least,
Yeah. We've
at
got
least
our
in
own
this,
space that we get to enjoy.
yeah, people come to us. We don't have to have the awkward experience of, oh, Lord and Lady, whatever the fuck your name was. Don't we have a cousin in common? Blah blah blah. They're going to come over to us to talk to us about specific things. There's no awkwardness. And oh, look, the prince is coming.
All right.
Before the prince arrives, we're going to go on break.
Hey.
Because it is 2 minutes to 9. So, yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us so far. We're going to be about 10 to 15 minutes. But we'll be right back with part 2 of the Chronicles of Nidum, episode 76.
Cup of tea.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Hello! Every fucking time.
That's not true. Sometimes we say other things.
Sometimes I'm late.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode 76 of the Chronicles of Nidum, where we left off in part 1.
We're rolling initiative.
The party had just been officially begun by the prince, who had stepped down after giving his very short speech and is now making his way towards your pen. as he gets closer, he's maybe about 50 feet away. It's a big garden. You lose sight of him, but I would like everyone to roll me a perception check, please.
Oh, let's see how this goes.
It can't be as bad as your last one, Charlie.
You say that!
Oh my god. Okay, 14 again. I rolled exactly the same.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Greg rolled the big one.
Okay.
I rolled exactly the same as last time, so that was a nat 1 for a total of 3.
Nice.
I also rolled the exact same as last time.
Fuck
Okay.
D&D Beyond, man.
It's a terrible website. Just an absolute garbage website for
Don't,
for
you
buffoons.
don't. Stop it.
The algorithm on their dice needs fixing.
Dice of the Beholder is brought to you by D&D Beyond, a shit website for idiots.
Greg! Sorry, D&D Beyond.
I'm not.
You're not worthy.
However, Quill, as the rest of you are keeping an eye out for the prince, Quill, you notice, over on the far side of the garden, standing past the now completely frozen solid velvet rope that is supposed to separate the ice giant from the partygoers, you see that standing quite close and in deep conversation with the ice giant himself is a very familiar black-clad, blonde-haired figure.
Orin?
The Inquisitor.
I don't think I ever knew he was blonde. I'm sure I must have done.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
knew he
fine.
was blonde because one time we sent the little anime UK guy from the Olympics into the messenger thing, and Bri was like, "That is basically what the Inquisitor looks like."
It's exactly
And I got
what the
mad at
fucking
him for
Inquisitor
making
looks
him
like.
He's very pretty, except that he's not. 'Tis an illusion.
Illusion.
That Oriana can see through.
And Quill can claw through, apparently.
But yes, Quill, you can see the Inquisitor speaking to the ice giant.
Hey, don't all turn to look at once, but the Inquisitor's speaking to that frost giant over there.
I don't need to turn around. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, they seem like a good match, don't they?
Well, both got hearts made of ice.
You think that the Inquisitor has a heart?
No, he has a little block of coal instead. It's not ice. I'm wrong.
Before
I
the
mean,
prince,
even coal is generous.
before the prince comes back into view, you do find that there are an elven couple standing at your rope, looking like they're trying to get your attention. One is a very
Madame and
skinny,
Monsieur?
severe-looking woman. The other is a much shorter, older, rotund elven gentleman. The woman kind of sniffs and kind of looks off into the distance as if she very obviously did not want to approach, but is being dragged by her much heavier husband. Bonjour, you are the spokesperson for your troop.
Yeah.
We don't have a single spokesperson, but I'm one of the more eloquent.
Well, my name
I'm sitting there eating ham.
My name is Jock. I have quite a prolific business supplying arms and magical weapons to the Elven Empire's military forces. And,
That must be fascinating.
oui, I have seen your prowess in the ring today. You made me some money. So I have decided to bring you a gift.
We're happy to have brought you profit.
Yeah. And he tosses a dagger to you.
Interesting. I will examine the dagger.
It is incredibly finely made.
Flip it around a bit from hand to hand. you know.
Beautifully wrought, fantastically balanced, an incredibly keen edge. It is only it's only got one blade, so it's meant for slashing and piercing. But it's gorgeous, and you do feel there is a kind of low-level arcane energy emanating from it.
This seems to have a little touch of the mystical about it. Does it? What does it do?
This is just very finely made. Seeks the target. Damages more keenly.
I see.
It is not difficult for you to discern without an identify spell that you have been tossed a +1 dagger.
It's a princely gift, and I can only thank you most humbly.
Don't mention it. Well,
Perhaps.
in fact, mention it as much as you possibly can to anyone who asks.
Indeed. What is the name of your business, sir?
Jacques Weapons.
Jacques Weapons. It has a simplicity that I find quite inspired.
My surname is Weapon.
Oh,
It is a play on words, as they say.
yes,
Very
puny.
clever.
My father was a baker. The idiocy.
His what was the name of his bakery?
Jacques. Weapon Bakeries.
Yeah, mixed messages. We've gone into the right field, I feel.
I was thinking of perhaps Jacques Arms. But
Sounds like a pub.
a pub.
Tavern.
In.
Ah, oui. Alright, très drôle. Anyway, au revoir. And
Have
with that, he
a-
just kind of wanders off.
Have a delightful evening.
As he turns, he stumbles and drops a glass. And one of the servants rushes over out of literally nowhere, as if they've just appeared, like the
Right.
like the reverse of the Homer Simpson meme going into the bushes, as if a servant just went and appeared at his side to help refill his glass.
I have Mage Hand basically perpetually up, like I'm just recasting it whenever it finishes. So can I try and catch the glass? My Mage Hand was quite close to him because I was thinking about robbing him.
Okay. Roll me a dexterity check.
Sleight of hand?
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a sleight of hand.
Haha, thank you. I see your dexterity check and I raise you. Sleight of hand check. Well, that's a pretty low roll for me, which means that it is only 23.
As he stumbles, then, the glass falls, and as if by magic, the servant appears to help refill the glass once it touches the ground. They are both startled to discover the glass stop.
I
An
raise
inch
the
above
glass
the
up
ground.
and place it on the tray that I hope the servant has.
Instead of giving him a new glass, then, he refills the glass that was dropped and offers it to the gentleman, who looks around for why this happened, because he's got his back turned to you,
Little salute.
nods to you. The wife, taking all this in, looks at you, then, Quill, out of the corner of her eye, and kind of beckons you over.
I approach.
Greg, can you please put that pen down?
Yes, darling.
Merci, monsieur. I much prefer him when he is drunk. And she hands you a pouch. And
Thank
wanders
you.
off to catch up with her husband as he toddles off.
I
What she gave you?
have a little look in the pouch.
There's 10 platinum in there.
Fucking hell, nice. Not a bad little tip for a cantrip.
When do you think was the last time she had an orgasm?
Never. That
Um,
woman has never had an orgasm through her husband.
I was going to say, I feel like perhaps the reason that she prefers him drunk is that she might be left more to her own devices, as it were.
Is she pretty, apart from looking quite severe-rich?
She is an older woman. The severity probably comes from age. You can imagine that, yes, she was stern but beautiful. You can imagine that she was quite comely in her younger years.
Hey, older people can be pretty too. I'm heading that way, as Greg keeps reminding me. If
I break up another marriage, am I going to get a reputation?
You get the feeling that her attitude, or perhaps not even her attitude, her unhappiness with her lot in life, if that was perhaps removed, she'd become much prettier.
I think that she could probably use that.
If she smiled more, bro, because I think women love to be told that.
No, I'm saying she'd be prettier if her husband died.
That's not how the quote normally goes. That woman would be much prettier if her husband was dead.
Do you know what you need to do to make yourself prettier? What? Murder your husband.
Become a widow.
Don't give Charlie another reason to murder her.
That would be really intense.
The only media she consumes is basically a tutorial for how to murder your husband and get away with it.
Honestly, you watch one complete series of dangerous women, and your husband gets a lifelong paranoia.
I watch them all the time. Bry's permanently terrified. Don't worry about it.
It's not paranoia if your wife literally knows hundreds of different ways to kill a man.
He does get quite upset if I commented on things going, well, that's a mistake.
That's not how I'd do it. Why would you do it?
Just before any more people then can come to pay their respects or ogle you, perhaps, you can start to see them kind of bow out of respect and step back as from around the corner comes the prince, flanked by 4 guards. The guards maintain a cautious distance, but the prince does then approach and quite spryly steps over the velvet rope and walks into the clearing.
Just for the sake of keeping up appearances, I do bow slightly to him and then stand back up.
I also stand up and bow.
I bow.
Politeness.
I bow with the most absurdly courtly flourish.
Hat off, feather out.
Hat off. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
As you look back up at the prince, he, with his back to the party, looks incredibly embarrassed.
Your Highness, you honour us with your
Please.
illustrious presence.
Please, my friends, do not.
Oh, sorry, should I courtesy lower? I can go.
Would you like me to bow with my nose on the floor?
I should prostrate myself. I wouldn't want to give offence to your Royal Highness's person.
You enjoy making me uncomfortable at my expense? Oui?
A little.
This is fun for you?
Very.
Little.
I should probably be angry, I suppose, but I find it strangely refreshing that none of you seem to care what I think. And he does he does give a genuine kind of chuckle to himself. Like, ooh, this is new.
I would like to really study my pay attention to the people who came over with him and try and judge if there's anyone who's making a conscious effort to listen.
Okay.
If there's any spies in his guard sort of thing.
How tall is the prince?
The prince is the same height as you, Morena.
Okay.
So
perception.
Roll me a perception check. Yeah.
Oof. I can't roll badly today. Apparently, 22.
Show off.
I know.
I'm getting Charlie's good rolls.
Give him back.
There is a
I'd like to notice something once.
There is a small kind of courtly entourage that's come with him. It would appear that while some of them initially wanted to approach closer with the prince, or perhaps as close as the guards have. Two of the guards, at least, are much further away, keeping them back. Almost as if the prince has requested they do this. The two guards that are then maybe within earshot of your conversation, one of them is very... As you look, he seems to be paying particular attention. His eyes are everywhere. He is concentrating on every point. He is being very, very astute at his job. You can see him scanning every face, scanning every shadow, looking for potential threat to his prince. The other, younger, possibly newer to the job, is not so much listening as his eyes are scanning the crowd, but seem to be lingering on the prettier partygoers, slightly longer than everyone else. It does not appear as if either of them are paying any particular attention to what you're saying.
Okay.
I've come over to first apologize for this travesty of celebration, I suppose.
Not at all.
My brother requested I organize it for his coronation on his birthday, and then decides not to turn up. We do not even know if he will be here for the unveiling of his present.
What is that?
It is a surprise.
Is it an issue?
From you? From the Inquisitor?
To be fair, they've said keep it a surprise. It will be lovely to unveil it to the court and the city on his birthday, but it is a structure attached to the top of the palace in full view of everyone that floats of its own accord. What else could it possibly be but a fucking airship? Yes, it is an airship.
I see our unliving friend is making small talk with Tall, Dark, and Icy over there.
I have still yet to discover whether he is unliving or not. But
I don't. I have discovered.
Yeah, it was under your claws for 3 days.
oui, he has a special interest in the ice giant.
Can't imagine
Suspect.
why.
Anyone who's going to fight us. You said it's an airship, the gift.
Oui, we have.
Is
it is the grandest airship in the fleet, built for my brother to command and sail at the head of the forces. Should we?
The Air Marder.
Very good.
What,
Does he always
do you
do
have...
that?
Yes,
Compulsively.
he can't stop himself. What is the, what powers the airship, do you know? I find them endlessly fascinating. And our world deception.
It is made,
Sure.
I believe, crafted by gnomish artisans.
Does anyone ever visit the factories where the gnomes work? I myself grew up with a few gnomes, and I've always found their work fascinating. You know, I make my own armor. I find the artisanal pursuits particularly interesting.
The factories are under the purview of the Inquisition.
I thought that the Inquisition were more in charge of
Inquisiting.
inquisiting and protecting the realm, not manufactory.
It would appear, as I have been, and he does lean in a bit closer for this, as I have come to discover since my conversation with Oriana earlier this week, I have learned that the Inquisition are in charge of a great many things, perhaps more than we ever realized.
would dearly love to have a chat with you at some point about your factories. I think you might find it interesting. At some point, if you get a chance.
Well, currently the factories are closed. They shut down.
For the festival.
No, they shut down production, I believe, yesterday.
Why?
Every worker and artisan is preparing the head of the Armada. And my brother's new personal transport. And as he kind of
going to be used to spread whatever the hell it is they want to do to all the humans.
as he looks up at it, you now notice that there is a smaller tarp-covered floating structure up there as well, just off to one side. So there are two options. All of the artisans are currently living aboard, preparing it, fixing it, making sure it is ready to go.
How many gnomes did I estimate? Would I estimate roughly were in that factory?
In that factory?
Yeah. From what I saw, extrapolating from the little I saw, as best I can make it. I'm pretty bright.
Looking back on it, you reckon there were probably 1,000 gnomes in there.
You're telling me there are over 1,000 gnomes on board that ship?
The ship is big enough to transport 5,000 people to the front lines.
I would still like to speak with you about the factory and the process of manufacturing these airships, if you get the chance.
Oui, when we have more time.
When we win.
These events, while the more you win, become much more exclusive. And as they are inside the palace, there are much more private rooms that we can converse in.
Perfect. Thank
Your
you.
Highness, your brother,
Oui.
where does he stand on some of your more liberal countercultural points of views?
On human rights, if you will.
Is it fair to assume that he takes a slightly more traditional view?
Until recently, no. Until recently, he was perhaps even more liberal than I. Unfortunately, I have had my eyes opened to certain truths that were hidden from me previously. He has had one of his eyes almost permanently closed because of a fire. Set, perhaps, or at least he has been led to believe by humans attempting to kill him.
No, we rarely do that.
Unfortunately, had it not been for the fire...
It's interesting how selectively we can remember events, isn't it?
Well, it is perhaps less to do with how well he remembers it, but perhaps the story he was given when he woke.
I am sorry for what happened to your brother. It is an unfortunate turn of events.
Oui.
And that is all it is.
We have given him the information of what we have discovered, that the fire was not set by humans, but was actually set by a UNT. But unfortunately, it has still not quelled his anger. It does not help that his bodyguard, his entourage, let's just say we do not get along.
I suppose it wouldn't take us too many guesses to work out who had seeded his personal guard.
Well, of course, most of them are the Inquisition, but his personal bodyguard is a good warrior of some renown. He's Ankane of the Knights Order.
Of course he is.
You have
That
heard of Ankane?
I do not think that here would be
we've
the
met.
place.
He's
Is there anyone listening to us right now, Rich, that I can see?
As far as you can tell, no. You can roll a perception check if you want to.
Please. This is getting into dangerous territory.
that is the perception check I rolled earlier.
16, but I'm going to use Flash of Genius and add 5 to it to make it 21. I want to be really sure.
Okay. As you look around then, apart from the other partygoers who are respectfully waiting for their turn, who are all much too far away to be overhearing you, the only other person you can see in this entire garden who appears to be paying any particular attention to you or in your direction is the automaton. He's standing there and his head is completely turned. His faceplate, his eyes glowing, staring in your direction, completely ignoring the people lining up at his velvet rope.
Staring at all of us or at Dice specifically?
Staring at all of you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think anyone's paying attention. Carry on.
I concur.
We've met Ankane.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't think, but
No, you.
I've heard no end of unflattering anecdote about him.
They met at the front, and as Ankane had friends in the Inquisition who are members of my brother's guard, they were introduced and got along swimmingly.
That doesn't speak very highly of your brother's judgment of character, I'm afraid.
Well, we'll see. I know my relationship with Ankane is complicated
Your relationship?
in a strictly platonical sense. I knew his master,
Who was a good person?
a very good person.
Was
Oriana, you get an almost very faint thank you in
Oh,
the back of your mind. Like a whisper. I am sorry for your loss.
Yes, well,
I suppose everyone loses someone in war, but the atrocities committed by the Drow, perhaps even the smallest atrocity was the death of Benkin.
was not committed by the Drow.
no.
I do not understand.
It was committed by your brother's friend.
Benkin was helping the Drow when Ankane refused to see the truth. Blinded by rage, took it out on his own master.
For many years in my youth, Benkin taught me swordplay, and also much wisdom that I have carried on later on in life. He was a good teacher, and for quite a few years, a good friend. I have no reason to distrust you, but
You don't have to trust us.
you can see tears begin to well in his eyes. Please do not tell me he was killed by betrayal.
I wish he wasn't.
And why do we
Especially
have the Matron Mother of the Drow Empire
As the elves
locked in our
universally,
dungeon?
the elves universally wanted the Drow dead. They invaded the Underdark. The Drow were helping humans and squirreling them away. And Benkin, at one point, descended with a force.
The
Benkin,
Drow Empire were not attacking elven settlements and kidnapping humans
they could
No.
not if they tried.
to make.
there weren't that many of them. Now there were even fewer.
There are legions of Drow, are there not?
No.
There was one city. Well, and now there is none.
And most of that city were citizens, just trying to get on with a daily life and trying to live a life.
Humans, people who had been pursued. It was a place of equality and beauty, a place that most above-ground settlements couldn't hope to achieve. When the elves descended, the Drow knew that they had... Why is it whenever we speak to it's very depressing? Anyway, the Drow knew they had very little chance of defending this. There was a final battle. Oriana, unfortunately, was the only one to witness the final battle.
Seems that you're not immune to your empire's own propaganda, Your Highness.
As a member of the ruling class, we like to believe we can control, help, govern justly and completely, and that we know everything that is going on inside our empire, but unfortunately we only know what we are told.
Do you have access to the Matron Mother? Or is she being held by the Inquisition?
She is being held by the Inquisition, but the palace is mine.
I would speak to her. Ask her about Benken. Ask her about Ankane. She's independent of us. Speak to her.
I have no
Say
reason.
that...
I do not disbelieve you. Please, do not misunderstand me. I trust you.
I wouldn't blame you, you know. None of us would, I think, if you didn't believe us.
It's even if you believe us in principle, it can't hurt your confidence to have the story confirmed event for event by one with whom we have no opportunity to collude. I am sorry for your loss, Your Highness. I did not know that that you had such a close relationship with Benkin. I myself never met the man, but my companions here speak very highly of him. And perhaps your association, well, for me at least, it helps me to be a little more trusting of your good intentions.
You mentioned you knew him in your youth. Did you know his sister?
He mentioned there, but they had long since. He was in his cups one night, and he mentioned they had long since fell family problems. He wanted to resolve them, but he did not know where she was.
It's a pity he didn't.
I have a party to attend to, and unfortunately
Yes.
you have once again wiped the smile from my face.
Well, I'm gonna quickly go over and grab like 2 drinks and bring one over to him and hand him a drink. So, to a lovely evening. The fireworks are actually pretty clever.
Merci, once more, nothing to do with me.
I would like to commend Your Highness, by the way, on his choice of guide for us this evening. Cecil's been extremely competent, knowledgeable, solicitous.
Delightful.
I am glad.
Irreplaceable.
You should be proud to have such one in your service.
I am glad his father and his grandfather was the personal valet of my father when he was still alive, and his father was my valet. Unfortunately, he passed away only recently, and Cecile, I took him on with very little training as a favor to the service that his family had given mine. And for the most part, what he lacks in his social graces and his knowledge of how to address certain members of the court, he more than makes up for in enthusiasm and his hard work. He is a credit to his family and his father before him.
He even puts up with weird questions very well. He's good at adaptability.
Put up with Quill.
In a more
Put up with Quill.
in a more social situation, you should see the weird questions he asks.
You should encourage him to be a little more educated, I think. I realise this might not be the done thing, but who's going to question you? Perhaps in literature? Music?
Storytelling.
Very well.
I think you might be surprised by what he's capable of.
Perhaps he would do well to read stories, present stories, maybe, one day. He has the right kind of voice for it, don't you think?
Oui, I will see if he wishes to do so.
Enjoy your party.
And sorry
I
for
will not.
always being so depressing.
I will not enjoy the party, but...
Well, try, and we will continue to entertain and do our part.
It will be nice.
I promise I won't be as depressing to talk to for any of your other guests.
Do I need to ask you not to get into trouble?
I am keeping an eye on him.
Have you?
I'm unsure whether it would do any good, Your Highness.
Very well, I will not waste my breath.
Wait,
Trouble behind us.
I have one more question, and I'm sorry. Is there any way to speak to one of the other competitors at any point? I know we're not necessarily supposed to, but I'm interested in the automaton who has been staring at us for the last 25 minutes. I look at Oriana's wrist. 25 minutes.
Sorry, be down here.
He looks over as well. The legend himself, the Lord of Blades.
Same.
He came from
The east.
the south, actually.
He comes from a land down under.
A settlement apparently within the borders of the Empire, but that does not recognize our sovereignty.
I would really like to speak to him if we get a chance.
You may regret that.
Maybe.
He does not say much apart from right before he kills people.
Well, presumably he's under the same rules we are here, not to harm anyone.
Oui. The same
And he's not
rules.
stupid, right?
The rules that
We
were
will
put
not
in
attack
place
anyone.
because the last time we allowed the competitors to mingle 3 years ago, there
Perhaps
were
if I had
casualties.
an escort?
Is it possible that not every robot in the world is a potential friend?
It's not that. I want to know where he comes from. That's it.
He cut out the hearts of 11 men today, and once they were dead, lying at his feet, sawed off their heads so that they could not be resurrected by any means. They are in, and he nods over to him again, they are in that bag. and you see a large, misshapen bag in the corner.
Yeah, you
of
know
his
what?
pen.
I'm good. This one's possibly a little broken. I'm cool.
Doesn't have a high score in the old friend points.
I mean, sure. And I'm just still looking at the bag, like looking for like oozy bits on the corners. I'm good, thanks, Your Highness. Hold that thought.
I am going to have a drink and then wonder if it's possible to warm an ice giant.
What?
I just wander off with that.
Au revoir. And the prince
revoir.
bows to you all and then leaves.
I do catch his eye, catch the prince's eye as he leaves and wink at him.
And he does smile in return before he turns away. Once the prince leaves, you notice, and it would appear that quite the queue or audience has gathered because the prince has stepped into your enclosure. And as soon as he leaves, a rush of bodies just press themselves up against the velvet rope, clamouring for your attention. And there are quite a few coins thrown in. A few pouches of gold. You can see
Is
some
there like
platinum
torches
pieces.
lighting up around the garden?
Yes, and they do appear to be getting brighter as the sky gets darker.
I'm going to use control flame to take some of that, and I'm just going to start juggling with a piece of fire.
Okay.
Just sort of throwing it around and playing with it.
I'll go around the perimeter, sort of greeting people and chatting briefly with them if they look like they want to chat.
Oriana,
Mm-hmm.
as you attempt to take the fire from one torch, it comes to you. The nearest torch is a hanging lantern in a tree nearby. You attempt to grab a second flame for the show of making it 2 balls of fire you can start juggling. It doesn't move. But
It's a
you do
magical
hear a very small yelp,
Ah!
and the lantern shakes as if something is inside it trying to get out.
Oh. Okay. Can I? Is it a lantern that's near me that I would be able to go over to it?
It's in the enclosure. It's hanging over the hedge of your enclosure.
I'm gonna sort of lean down to it and go, "Apologies, I didn't mean to hurt you."
The light dims slightly, and inside is a very small fairy creature.
Oh.
As the light dims even more, you can see more of its features. And it is a very tiny, beautiful young woman. Stunningly gorgeous gossamer wings. But she appears to be chained to a small iron post in the middle of the lantern. And the iron cuffs around her wrists, tiny, they wouldn't even fit over the tip of your little finger. And you can see it appears to be burning her skin if she struggles.
I know nothing about this, I assume, so I'm sitting there eating toast.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you precious little thing. I can't take her out and release her because I can imagine releasing a fairy into this party is going to cause some fucking havoc.
Is that a good reason not to do it? I'm not there.
I'm not there and I wish I was.
Oh. Do I... Because obviously I know why you don't buy in on a fairy, but would Oriana know?
Yeah.
It's a pretty common thing.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you don't need to roll for like folklore.
Yeah.
This is folklore. This is like your nan would have told you these stories as a child. This is common knowledge, especially in a world in which fairies exist. This is definitely common knowledge.
Fairies are from the Fae, though, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
So are the Eladrin, which, as far as you can tell, is like the purest race of elves. Which, as far as you can tell, is what the prince is.
Huh. Do I get any inclination that the fairy understands what I'm saying?
The fairy understands what you're saying, and there is a small kind of buzzing speech coming from the fairy. Sounds primal, animalistic. What languages can you speak?
Common, Draconic, Elvish, Gnomish, Infernal, Orc, and Undercommon.
Okay. Roll me an intelligence check, because you've got
Oh,
the
Nidum feet.
educated in Nidum feat.
Intelligence check.
Yeah, just a check. Just D20
I
plus
don't-
your intelligence modifier. Or click on your intelligence modifier.
Oh yeah, I can do that, can't I? 15.
15. Okay. It is a complicated language, having only heard about it and never really heard it back in Needham. Like, you may have read it, but you've never really heard it spoken, especially as quickly as this fairy is doing. But the fairy is speaking Sylvan.
Ah.
And as she continues, you do manage to discern a couple of words. And you get the gist that what she's saying is, what would be the point in releasing me without releasing all of the others? And she looks around at her, and you see, while there are a lot of burning torches in the trees hanging all around this garden, and many more torches, many more lanterns exactly like this one.
You're right. And I feel so terrible for you, but I'm in a similar situation. At least I'm not shackled.
She does continue to speak, and you get the impression a thimble of whiskey might not go amiss.
I can do that. I get her
Okay.
like tiny bits.
Fine, I am fully watching Ariana like this.
Just
I
talking
get
to
like a
them.
tiny bit of, I get like a tiny, yeah, I find like something small, like a thimble or something that I can put some whatever alcohol I can get hold of into it, and like a tiny bit of fruit as well.
Okay.
Ori, have
Yeah?
you lost your damn mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just carry on. I'm
Quill.
feeding the fire.
Ori's giving whiskey to a lantern.
Quill is entertaining the crowd at the.
Ace, Ori's feeding whiskey to a what? Alright.
I leave her be with that then, and I go back to I just mess with the one bit of fire I have because I can make it do shapes and shit.
Dice absolutely bold as fuck, acting like giving a whiskey to a fire is a weirder thing to do than being like, I want to go and make friends with the robot covered in blades.
As you move away, you don't hear the Sylvan out loud. You hear it in the back of your mind. And all you hear, and you do understand each one of these words as if they're spoken in many of the languages that you know. But you hear the words, I owe you.
I casually look to her and just bow my head in the middle of, but make it look like it's part of what I'm doing. But so she knows that I'm bowing to her, like giving her a nod. Yeah, bitch, fairy owes me.
Dangerous.
Okay. I would like everyone who's trying to entertain then to roll me a performance check.
Love to.
I can do
As a
that.
human, I'm sitting in my corner, staying out the way and pretending I don't exist, unless asked for specifically.
26.
Performance.
26.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's huge.
I'm gonna say I did bring my tambourine with me,
Oh, 23.
Nice.
which still has that bar's name on it because I nicked it from a tavern.
Yeah, I rolled a natural 19.
Okay. So both of you then begin to perform. There is song, dance, the juggling of fire, the twirling of blades. more and more money.
Ace is just flexing.
Yeah, more and more money is thrown your way.
Right.
Dice, yeah.
This is quite important.
Mm.
I'm gonna rob some people.
Okay.
So as I said, I have Mage Hand up, and obviously I'm part Arcane Trickster Rogue, so I have Mage Hand Legerdemain, which means I can use Sleight of Hand via my Mage Hand. So I'm not going to rob everyone. I'm probably just going to rob people who have visible, statement jewelry pieces.
Okay.
And probably only if they're like condescending or, they piss me off.
Okay. As you and Oriana are very effectively entertaining the crowd and distracting them, then I'll give you advantage on this.
Thank you.
Well, because your combined rolls are like 50.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'll give you advantage on this one.
I appreciate it. Let's see what we do here. Okay. Not bad. 31.
31.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the crowd are so enchanted by your performances, by your display. You do actually appear to find a woman, massive statement brooch.
Oh, not just one. I want to rob a few people.
Yeah. But the first one you find, a massive statement brooch shaped like a beetle, covered in gems and diamonds that you saw earlier.
Yeah, it's an NPC that I made up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's real now. That's it.
Yep. She's canon.
DMs and players creating the world together. But yes, and she hasn't noticed yet, but the brooch is gone. Good thing it wasn't holding anything up. Yeah, you take quite a substantial amount, at least in monetary value, of expensive jewellery pieces. Very few of them have any money apart from like the handfuls that they have that they're like throwing bits. There's at the moment the ground around you is littered with like gold and platinum.
Very nice.
You're still actually of the mind, though, as you look around the crowd. Some of the richest people here probably still have less money than you do.
You don't know that, though. Jeez.
Yeah, they certainly don't know how much money we have.
Dice.
Yeah.
Or Gladiator.
You notice, at the corner of your eye, that there are a group of people not paying any attention to Quill and Oriana at all. And while their parents or their guardians appear to be completely enchanted by Oriana or Quill, there are 4 elven children standing there waving at you.
I will wander over and kneel down in front of them and say, hello.
Are you really an automaton?
No, not really. Oh, but I can make myself look like one. May I add, that's a very pretty dress you're wearing.
And she smiles and blushes and tries to hide behind one of her friends. And one of the boys steps forward. Show us.
I make the helmet come up over my face and hide it.
And they're all
And
just...
I make my hands like crackle with lightning energy, and then I turn it off and put it back down.
And they're all... It's just... They're dumbstruck. They're all struck by you. And how wonderful this is. But the kind of... The more confident boy is like...
Mm-hmm.
Do you have skin under the armor?
And I'm going to hold my hand up and make the armor peel back away from my hands and just wave my normal human fingers. With the one with the tattoo down the back. And go, you can't tattoo metal. And then I'll put it back over.
It's very nice ink.
Thank you, I think so. It's new.
I will be right back.
Okay.
And he kind of wanders over to his dad, and you can see him. He's kind of tugging at his coat, and his dad is just kind of shooing him away, drinking from his flask, watching Quill spin a dagger, until eventually the boy just comes back and says, "I do not know how much is proper, but you will not notice," and just hands you quite a large pouch.
Are you sure he won't notice? It seems like he might notice.
He is very drunk.
Would you guys like some cake?
Oui. And then their eyes just kind of go, cake.
I'll go over to the table and I'm going to cut 4 like generous slices of the nicest cake on the table and give it to the children.
And they immediately start like scoffing it down with huge beaming grins on their face.
Okay,
And
but don't make yourself sick and don't get it on that pretty dress, okay?
one of the girls is like, "I do not know what my teacher was talking about. Humans are very nice."
Most of us are. That's true.
I always thought he was an idiot.
He probably was.
My mother told me that teachers are not idiots, but I think my mother is an idiot as well.
What's your name? I like you. I like all of you.
I am Gabriella. This is my brother Thomas. This is Fifi. And this is Carrie.
Harry?
Carrie.
I heard curry rich and I was like, that's not a name for a child.
Fifi is Fionana.
Fianana, very pretty.
She does not like Fionana, so we call her Fifi.
I think that's reasonable. Fianana is a very big name to grow into, don't you think?
Your grandmother's name is very old.
Sorry, it was Fifi, Thomas. I know this isn't relevant, but I don't want to forget it. Gabriella. What was the 4th one?
Thomas.
Carrie.
Carrie. Well, you know, I used to have a teacher who kept trying to make a chair, and every time he made it, all the legs would fall off. So I suspect some teachers might actually be idiots. Just some of them. You should try and respect your teachers, but maybe a few.
But not if all of their legs fall off.
If all of the legs fall off, it is a very bad chair.
Or a bad teacher.
Or a bad teacher. Definitely rubbish at both things, I would say.
I will ask my teacher to make a chair. The
Out
legs
of
will
magic
probably
or
all
wood?
very fall off.
I think that would be a very fun thing for your class to watch, don't you?
Oui.
Did you get to see the fight? Are you allowed to come to the fight?
No.
I think that's probably for the best. But maybe when you're older, you'll get to see something like it.
I do not like fighting.
I think that's nice. What do you want to do?
And this is Gabriella speaking to you now.
If you could do anything in the whole wide world, what would you want to do?
No, it is silly. The other kids
No
have kind of
dreams.
lost interest now, and they're just eating their cake and they're standing by their parents.
No dream is silly. Ever.
Sometimes I dream that I am in a forest, and I can hear the trees singing to me, and my hair and skin change to suit the seasons, and I am replenished by the grass, and I can hear whispering in the water, and then I change into a bird and fly through the air.
Now that is a very good dream. How old is she? Would she have gone through the ritual yet?
She's a baby
Maybe
druid.
8, 9 years old.
Sorry, Charlie, I missed what you said.
She's a baby druid.
Charlie's
Maybe
as emotional as I am about this, clearly.
I am fully like. Maybe you should try and hold on to that dream, whatever happened. That is one of the best dreams I have ever heard. Honestly, it's making me tearful. Don't know what's wrong with me.
Same.
I know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, but Charlie, I'm not pregnant.
I also know what's wrong with me.
They have told us that dreams like this are impossible. The elves no longer have this magic.
Maybe one day, if people look for it, they could.
Why are you crying?
Because it's a very good dream.
Thank you. What is your name?
And you really hold on to it. My name is Dice.
Dice what?
De Marilonis.
What?
No one ever asks my surname.
I will remember.
What's your surname?
Oh, it is the name of my father's house.
Do you not like your father, your mother, your brother?
It's the first time I've seen my father in a year.
He works away.
No,
And your mother, you said she's an idiot. Did you mean it?
oui. She married my father.
Where do you... Is your father a merchant? Are you living in the city somewhere?
No, we are
I'm
sent.
not going to kidnap a child.
We are sent away to school.
And you don't like the school either, huh?
No, they're all idiots.
You know, once upon a time, a very long time ago, elves were much more in touch with nature. You know that, right?
I've heard the stories, but we cannot read any of them because those books are banned.
It seems to me that perhaps a little spark of that still resides in you.
As she smiles at you, you hear a very stern male voice. Gabrielle! And she turns, looks annoyed, pokes at her tongue at her father, smiles back at you. Merci, madame.
It has been a true pleasure to meet you, Gabrielle. I hope I'll see you again. I would like that.
As would I.
Bye.
Au revoir. And she
Au
runs
revoir.
and she walks off, dragging her feet. Like full on Anya Strop. Back to her dad.
Your poor daughter. I turn around and go and hug Ace and go, the little girl made me cry! Because Ori and Quill are doing things and I'm like...
Ace just pats your back. Everyone roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh no.
God, how many perception checks do you want us to roll today?
What, in a party where we have to keep looking at things?
Yay.
I can see it.
My die landed on a 1, but it was on the floor. And everyone knows that numbers on the floor don't count unless they're natural 20.
Cocked.
19.
It's true.
19.
I rolled 19, but then
18.
I
I got hiccups.
4 to that for a total of 23.
Okay.
Ah,
You all
That's it.
notice that the crowd is starting to disperse. The people at the back of the audience before you now is starting to thin out. People are starting to rush away for some strange reason. Until everyone in front of you parts like the Red Sea. And through the middle, you see walk the Inquisitor.
Stop juggling immediately.
I turn to Ace and go, I want to
Same
go
map
back.
where I got it from.
I want to go back to the little girl. The little girl was more fun. Please take me back to the little girl.
I literally turn my back on him and walk over to the buffet table and take my time picking out some food.
I've started chugging wine.
I'm also sitting there with like 3 glasses of whiskey arrayed in front of me. I'm like, 1, 2.
As the audience disperses, you can see 4 other Inquisitors behind him. You can also see, though, they are flanked by 6 of the Prince's Guard. But as the Inquisitor gets to the velvet rope, he steps to one side and turns to look behind him. From behind, maybe a foot shorter than the Inquisitor himself, hobbles forward, a cloaked figure. Inquisitorial symbol on both shoulders, wrought in platinum, with a heavy walking stick, tapping the floor, gnarled wood. And as the head comes up, the eyes look out at you, and you can see for a second, a flash of a horrible, sickly green in those eyes. Very similar to the crystals that you found growing around the Empire. Before the hood comes back and the oldest elf you have ever seen looks up at you from sunken eyes in a wizened old wrinkled face.
Can I see what he really looks like?
Yeah. Not sure you wanna.
With this one, roll me a perception check with advantage.
19.
19. Your vision swims. Smoke clouds the edges of your eyes until the only people you can see in front of you are the Inquisitor and the person he has just presented to you. While the Inquisitor, his face, all of the kind of life in his skin dissolves away to show the grey, paper-thin skin. You can also see the 3 claw marks recently left by Quill on his cheek, not healed. In fact, they seem to have torn even more. The person next to him is like staring into the abyss of death itself. His eyes are black voids. His nose almost completely gone. You can see little bits of skin where his nose or cartilage should be, and they slowly just flap back and forth as he breathes. His jaw almost completely disconnected from the rest of his skull, hanging on by old, dried up sinew. And suddenly, the illusion snaps back, stronger than ever before, and his eyes focus on you. My Lord High Inquisitor. Sorry, my Lord, he's the High Inquisitor. My Lord Grand Inquisitor, I present to you my acquaintances from Albion.
I
The
just
Grand
tip my cup
Inquisitor.
towards them.
The Grand Inquisitor surveys you all. Well met.
At this point, I come back from the table and I have like an armful of peaches, and like in one hand I've got the biggest, juiciest peach. I take a huge, messy bite and like let juice run down my chin, and with my mouth open, I say, with my mouth full, I say, "All right,
Alright. Good.
you're a peach. They're really nice."
I would. Thank you. And he holds out his hand to you.
I throw a peach to him. The one that I bit.
He does not move, but the peach stops in midair, directly above his open palm, and then lowers slowly into it. He nods very slowly towards you, and then takes a bite of the peach. But
May it turn to ash in your mouth.
as he bites into it, it is like watching something obscene. And as he begins to chew, you almost get the sense that ash is falling from the corners of his mouth before he wipes it away.
I think I might be a god.
Sweet.
Juicy. Full of life. As I'm sure my lord the Grand Inquisitor is, and will be, always. To what do we owe the inestimable pleasure of your company?
I have been told by my younger, lesser of a group that have caused him many problems.
Is there any way of telling how he feels about what the Inquisitors told him? Is there any hint at all in his demeanour that gives away how he feels about what he's been
Roll
told?
me an insight check.
I'm pretty sure I can guess how this is going to go, but, you know.
Also, we need the mod in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll deal with that in a second. I'm it. Insight. 18.
18.
Yeah.
His face is unfathomable. He looks like he looks like he's really enjoying the peach.
As far as I can tell, tying his shoelaces in the morning is probably enough to cause problems for your subordinate here. He's not a competent or intelligent or likable man.
Yes, that's who he reminds me of.
What? Not Palpatine?
Funny.
I've been told this. It's a pleasure to meet a member of the Inquisition capable of understanding a joke. It's maybe a first.
Stop. If I laugh again, I'll keel over.
Well, we can't have that.
He's got a sense of humour, it's weird.
I just wanted to look into all of your eyes.
For the last time?
Everyone roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I see.
Feeling. This should be fine because I have a +0 to it. I have inspiration. I'm going to use it now.
I also have inspiration, and I'm going to use it now.
I don't have inspiration. I'm fucked.
17. Guessing that's not going to be enough.
13. I fail.
5.
Oh my fucking god, we had the
roll
least.
for ace.
Oh. What's Ace's plus? Oh, wait, do we get a +1 because we're standing near Ace? I think we do, right?
Yes, you do.
15.
8.
15, and with Flash of Genius, no less.
Yay, 6.
I rolled a nat 20 for Ace.
Oh, actually, yeah. Don't worry about ace.
Oh, I mean, can I have the nat 20 then?
No.
It's fair.
What was?
I want that nat 20 for something
so
later.
what was yours? It was 18.
Can I have advantage for knowing he's like probably gonna pull something like this?
I had no idea.
Unless any immunities come up, which is why I said ace isn't, because I've only got ace's sheet open in front of me right now. As he passes his eyes over you all except from Ace are gripped with an overwhelming fear of him.
With an 18? Fuck my whole life.
You desperately want to get away, but you know the confines of the garden are not enough.
In my fear, then I would like to push myself back from the table and knock the chair over and scramble back to the edge of the thing, away from him. I expect that to make quite a lot of noise.
Ace, being further away from you, when this effect occurred, steps within 10 feet of all of you, and the fear immediately disappears.
I was sitting next to Ace at the table. I was just hugging them. Does that not work immediately?
I thought you got up with the rest of them. Let's say you got up with the rest of them. It's great.
I thought Ace was within 10 feet of us. That's why we added +1 to our saving throws. But it's fine. It's very
fine.
dramatic to experience the fear and then have it dissipate. I like it. I'm going to attempt to rob the Inquisitor. The High Inquisitor, not the Grand Inquisitor.
Okay.
I'm not a fucking lunatic.
You should deal
28.
with them as you see fit, then. Well met. And the Grand Inquisitor turns to walk away as you use your Mage Hand Legerdemain to try and steal from the High Inquisitor.
28, and bear in mind that the hand is also invisible.
What are you trying to
Also,
steal?
while this is going
What's
on,
he got?
I want to point to on my cheek where Quill hit him on his cheek. Just point to him and go, "You should get that looked at," and then just turn around again and walk back to the bar.
Table area.
Sorry, what were you trying to get off the High Inquisitor?
What's he got?
Brooches. Breeches.
Something he'd miss.
Feel his
Something-
trousers.
No, he hasn't got bitches.
Something that would piss him off not to have.
Okay. You feel the Mage Hand as you can sense, touch, and wait through it. You feel the Mage Hand pick up something quite substantial. Squirrel away into a nearby bush. And the High Inquisitor looks at you all. That meeting went less violently than I had hoped. But
Well, he didn't seem like the sort of person that we could trifle with lightly, unlike you.
yes, quite. I am, unfortunately. And he looks around the walls and glances back at the prince's guards standing near him. Quite constrained at the moment in what I can do. However, you are right, Tiefling. I should go and get this looked at. Perhaps I should, matron mothers have some form of healing. Perhaps I should go and show it to her. I was just on my way now. Perhaps to work out some frustrations. Do enjoy the rest of your party.
I don't know why, if we were not intimidated by the organ grinder, this individual thinks that we're going to be scared by the monkey.
I'm not trying to scare you.
I wasn't talking to you, actually. I was talking to my companions. You're dismissed, and may leave.
I'm gonna turn back around and go like, "Oh, you're still here," and then turn back away from him.
Very rude of you to eavesdrop on our private conversation.
Enjoy your evening.
We are the Inquisition. Nothing is private from us.
Except the pleasures of your wives, I imagine.
Oh, I derive my pleasure elsewhere.
Murder.
I'm sure it
Just-
won't
I'm
come
mutter-
to that.
I'm-
Just some
I
light
mutter into-
torture.
I just mutter into my cup a 2-pump wonder.
I snort into my whiskey because I'm now 4 in and having a wonderful time.
Please enjoy the rest of your evening with the weight of what you have caused playing on your minds.
I don't think it's actually anything to do with us, is it? I think your choices are your own.
Please enjoy the rest of your miserable life, knowing that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The worse one behaves while one is ascendant, the worse one's experience is on the way back down. Good evening, Inquisitor. You are dismissed.
He turns and walks away.
Odious.
He walks towards the palace. But instead of going up onto the dais and in through the main doors, he goes off to the left, to a heavily guarded entrance, to steps that lead down underground.
You know, if
The guards
We've
wave
learned
him through, and he is lost to sight as the doors close behind him.
I think we've learned something about where individuals of import are kept.
And the opinions of the Grand Inquisitor. Turns out he's a rotting corpse of hate as well.
hardly a surprise. I wish that we could get the prince to go and look at what is happening now. Unfortunately, I suspect this party is somewhat in the way. But perhaps we could have saved us some pain, you know?
I could send a message.
I don't know that he'd have the opportunity to act on it, but there's no harm in letting him know.
It's worth a try. I'll do sending to the prince. If I can find my spell. There we go.
If I could find my way.
Inquisitor just visited, made threats about matron mother, headed into palace. Send.
Very well.
Nice.
Very well. I will make my excuses. And you see off in the corner of the party, the prince stumbles. Two of his guards rush forward and kind of carry him up, and he begins to limp a little. A lot of the party goers try to help him, and he kind of smiles and waves them off, saying, like, waves his glass a little, saying, mimicking that he's maybe had a bit too much already.
Yeah.
And asks his guards to take him back towards the palace. But you can see as they approach the palace, and people stop paying attention to him, he veers off to the left and begins to walk of his own power, with 6 guards attending him to the door downstairs.
I hope that we haven't just gotten him into horrible trouble.
I mean, the Inquisitor wouldn't dare attack him in the palace with the palace guards around, right?
I think there's very little the Inquisitor wouldn't dare to do, because I have a horrible, horrible feeling they run this country. This place.
I think the prince is capable.
Not that I like him. I don't want him hurt. There are few allies we could have as powerful as him, and not just that, I actually like him. I'd kind of like to keep him in one piece, and not murdered in his head.
I'm still a little skeptical of him. From everything you've said about Benkin, though, if he had his respect, that's certainly reassuring.
Certainly does help, and was surprising.
Right, is there any difference in the crowd after our confrontation with the Inquisitor? Like, have they been slow to return?
As you turn around, you are all then surprised to find, appearing as if from nowhere, a beautiful elven woman standing at the velvet rope, wearing clothing much more daring than most of the other elven women there, showing a lot more flesh, tossing a pouch up and down in the air, standing in a very familiar way to you, Oriana.
Well, hello there. I head over to the rope.
Hello there.
How much for an evening in your company?
Well, I'm afraid at the moment I am otherwise engaged.
I would be perfectly willing to slum it, as it were. I would even perhaps suggest returning to your quarters instead of mine.
Now that is something I can do. Do you know where I'm staying?
I thought perhaps... and she kind of coughs.
Oh, I thought that was just you being weird.
I very much hate having to do the Parisian accent. I hate it. It is not my own, and
It doesn't suit you.
It sounds so sickly sweet. It is awful. Can we make our excuses and go now, please?
I can't leave.
Actually, and the elven woman looks around, and you start to see the partygoers, now that the prince has left, decide that the party is over and start to make their way out as well. I believe once the prince leaves, so can you. Out of nowhere, Cecil returns. Bonjour. I'm sorry it has been so long. The prince said he wanted some time with you, and then I was also instructed by him to, because the last time I spoke to him, I very much annoyed the Grand Inquisitor, and the High Inquisitor, and I almost died, but the prince stopped him from killing me, so I apologize. I was not allowed to attend while they were here, but I hope...
It's perfectly fine, Cecil. It's no problem at all. I was hoping you could show us back to our carriage.
I've arranged a more private carriage for you, one that actually has a roof this time, if that is all right.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Please.
Our friend here is going to join us as well.
Oui, madame, of course. And he immediately looks down at the floor so he doesn't make eye contact with an aristocratic elf.
It's quite all right, Cecil. Let's get going then. Just before I go, whatever, I have a bit of peach or something left in my hand, I stick it in the torch. Just like this one last little bit, I just put in there and then pat the torch and walk off.
All right.
You hear a very tiny voice, and only you hear Ori.
Elvie.
Elvie.
Oh.
I tried to whisper back my name, but it would look really fucking crazy if I suddenly went Ori. Also, I don't want to give Faye my name.
But yes, you are taken on a very roundabout route through the gardens, and you can pretty much confirm in your own minds that all of these underways, like the tunnels under the bridges, the hidden, or the pathways that are completely hidden by trees, you could not see them from your enclosure. You could not see these paths at all. They seem to be ways only known by servants, so that servants can appear when needed and disappear as needed. They appear to be almost completely hidden from the guards on the walls as well.
Do we go past the ice giant?
Roll me an investigation check.
I have questions about the guards that I'd like to come back to in a second, though.
No, it's a 6.
Okay.
I meant, do we walk past his pen?
You don't walk past his pen the way he's taking you, and the amount of different turns you've taken with Cecil, you can't work out whether your path takes you close. Dice?
Oh, damn it, I meant to flirt with him.
You said we're out of sight of the guards on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Are there guards with us at all?
No.
Then I would like to keep a really close eye around us for anything out of place. That I'd like to look for anyone hiding or looking to cause trouble.
Okay. Roll me a perception.
I don't like that we're outside the guards. Guides? It's late and I'm tired, people. Perception. Okay. Oh, that's better. Cool. 16. 21.
As you go, you can hear voices on the other sides of the hedges, but they appear to be partygoers or servants. You do not see, or you don't. There doesn't appear to be anyone paying any attention to you.
Good. That's how I prefer it. I think this game's making me paranoid. Thank you.
But eventually, you come back to the familiar door near the stables, and outside are 8 of the Prince's Guard and a carriage that is familiar to you. It is the Prince's own personal carriage.
Sweet.
Very nice. Your master has been kind to us, and hopefully to you as well.
My master has, it would appear, taken a liking to you all, and after your performance in the arena, I can see why you are. No, heroes is a stupid word. Sorry. You are amazing. I have put more money on your bout tomorrow, and
I hope we don't lose you that money.
I am, after watching your performance in the first one, I am secure or happy that you will have no problem. They were supposed to unveil your opponent tonight, but unfortunately the prince, he twisted his ankle.
That's
So,
unfortunate.
It
I
would
want
have
to
been
give
a fine
Ryan's
thing to
tomorrow.
see. The gnomes have been working on it for a long time.
I want to give you something, Cecil. I have
Oui?
something for you. I'm going to give him. I have a flute.
I was going to do the exact same thing. I was going to give him my flute.
You can give me yours.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna give him my flute and say, you know, this might not come to anything, but try having a play about with it and see if it suits you.
This is too precious a gift, monsieur. I cannot accept.
Not at all. It's,
Well, you'll have to practice hard then, to make it worthwhile.
My father would play when I was a very young boy. And you see tears begin to fill his eyes. This is the finest gift you could have given me, monsieur. I cannot ever repay you.
One day, Cecil, I hope that I will hear you play that flute or a finer one, and I'll see your audience charmed and rapt with attention. That's my fondest wish, and if you can make that come true for me, that would be worth more than 1,000 flutes.
Can I sense anything about his father around him? Because he lost him recently, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to use your Eyes of the Grave ability?
Yeah.
Okay. As you use your... Well, yeah, it's your charisma modifier, so you can use it like loads of fucking times. Once
I
more,
don't
your
even have a
eyes...
spell slot for it. I just tell
No.
you when I want to do it.
Yeah, because it's the only thing I forgot to homebrew. I will, but yeah. Your eyes flash again. The smoke begins to fill them. Everything else loses focus, apart from Cecil. And on his shoulder you can see a ghostly hand. More solid than other ghosts you've seen using this ability. More solid than the ones in Paras Below in the graveyard. More solid than the ones paying the toll to the ghosts you destroyed. There is a strange sense of life about this spirit. And you look up and you can see that Cecil, while a handsome young man, is a carbon copy of his father, who stands a good foot taller than him, smiling down at him. And the ghost also then looks up and smiles at Quill. And as Cecil then holds the flute up and just gazes at it lovingly, the spirit also takes a flute from his pocket and begins to blow a long, clear note until you realise that it's not the ghost, it's Cecil blowing the long, clear, perfect note. And then the ghost disappears, and you get the feeling that Cecil might work out how to play without ever knowing how or who is teaching him.
Aww.
You're a natural.
Your father would be proud of you, Cecil.
It took me 3 months to be able to play a note that...
I still can't. That's why I went for the tambourine instead in the end.
Merci, monsieur. I must attend the prince. I am sorry. Good luck tomorrow. Not that you will need it. I'm sure...
Luck on winning.
I'm sure a dragon automaton will be no match for you. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
And he rushes off.
Well, he
Did
let
he
that
say-
slip.
Did he say dragon automaton?
Yeah, he so did.
Okie dokie.
I get in the carriage, just sit down and stay. Like, oh my god.
God,
You start.
it's almost
I
like
start
someone in this... someone in the organisation of this tournament has recently obtained a new book containing the details of several different types of dragons.
Do you know what would be really effective against a dragon made of metal?
Is that a dragon?
Magnets.
And I just smile to myself, sitting there going,
As you sit
Another
there,
larger dragon also made of metal.
as you sit there then, and the elven woman doffs her hat, her blonde hair changing to red, her dress changing into much more form-fitting rogue-type clothing. Natasha sits before you.
Yeah.
yeah, obviously.
So, how's it going?
You pissed off the Inquisition?
I've got 2 new pets.
Sure.
Before you start to reel off all of her accomplishments as the last time you saw her, I think we'll leave it there as the carriage begins to go back to...
Right, did we scoop up the money off the floor before we left?
Let's say yes.
Yeah, no, we absolutely did.
Would you like to know how much you made?
Yes.
By all means, was it 1 million gold?
It was not 1 million gold.
I knew it would be 1 million gold. It was destined to be.
It was, however, 100 platinum.
Someone should write this down.
I am.
Cool.
500 gold.
Yeah.
And 400 silver.
Lovely.
And a
make
brooch.
that. Well, I'd purloin some jewellery on the side.
Yes.
Does that include the purse given to me by Gabriella and Thomas?
It does.
Okay, good.
So I make that 20 platinum, 125 gold, and 100 silver each. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
125 gold. And how many silver?
120. Yeah, 120
Ah,
gold.
shit.
125 gold? 125
What's wrong,
gold,
Charles?
And 100 silver.
Oh, everything in my inventory has been unclicked.
Oh, yeah.
So I have nothing equipped.
It's because it moved it all, like, there's a system now where you've got, like, a backpack, bag of holding equipment, like, so it moved everything into equipment and it unticks everything, so you can just tick it.
Was it the Tomb of Leadership I read, or was it the Quickness of Action? It was Quickness of Action, wasn't it?
It was Time of Leadership you read.
It was both of them, wasn't it?
No, I only read the one.
Now you've read both. Congratulations. I don't know the answer.
I should be wearing the necklace of fireball.
I've got all my stuff still.
Oh, look at that! I was supposed to have had +2 on my saving throws.
It wouldn't have helped.
No.
No.
But I would have felt better.
20 platinum, 125 gold. No Electrum. No one ever uses Electrum, guys.
It's a trading.
It was a joke.
And Bri, what are my ill-gotten gains, please?
Oh, your ill-gotten gains.
Yeah.
The brooch is probably worth about 500 gold on its own.
Okay.
What did you get from the Inquisitor?
I'm much more interested in what I stole from the Inquisitor, but also like I stole other stuff from other people, not just the brooch, right?
Mm-hmm. And you stole 2 necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
One is worth about 300 gold.
Yeah.
The other one is only worth 100 gold, but the diamond in it, the large, very big diamond in it, is worth 500 gold on its own.
Nice.
500 gold diamonds are useful.
I'm familiar with 500 gold diamonds, thank you, yes.
From the Inquisitor, as you look at it now on your way home, you have stolen a hilt.
Hilt.
Mm-hmm.
You got his lightsaber.
Oh my god.
It has a button on the side of it.
Don't light it in the carriage, please.
I will wait until we get back to the compound and into a private quarter to light it.
You have stolen a sunblade.
Nice. That's very cool.
The battery's dead.
Oh.
Darn it. That's really disappointing in this exact moment.
But yes,
Damn it. I'm trying to find the charger for it now.
so we'll leave it there. We will call that there for the evening, I believe, as you are all on your way back before, well, to chat with Nathashar before your next bout tomorrow, which you now have some idea about what it might be.
Yeah, a little clue.
Then we just...
I love it. I've got plans. It's great.
Did you just say
I'm
we're
on
playing
board.
again tomorrow?
Oh, I wish.
In-game tomorrow. But yes, hope you all enjoyed. I enjoyed. I do enjoy a good social one. I'm not going to apologise for the lack of combat.
Of course, yeah, you must.
No, because the last one was pretty much just combat.
Yeah.
I made it to the end again.
You did.
Yeah,
Very
you
proud
did.
of you.
Yay!
Yay! Charlie
It
did
was
it.
it was
It's been
really
a
nice
while.
to have you here.
Sorry
Yeah.
we didn't have an M
really
today.
missed playing full sessions.
Sorry we didn't have an M today, but it's for an awesome, amazing reason. M has finally got a place.
Yes,
Got their
finally
own
has
place.
their own...
M's moving
finally
out.
has their own flat.
M has knackered themselves today, like preparing for like painting and stuff all this week. So
Decorating and shopping. So M is finally going to have their own place and not be annoying anyone when we stay up late to play D&D.
Yeah.
It's going to be super good. And of course, Mochi is moving with them. So Em is super happy and gets the cat. And yeah, it's all
I
very,
actually got
very,
to
very
meet
good.
Mochi today for the first time properly.
Oh, she's so tiny and cute.
She's so cute. She's only about this big.
She's a really
She's so
small cat.
Yeah, we went by to drop off a toaster and kettle because we couldn't not celebrate M's new place. So yeah,
Okay.
we're all very happy for them, but the decorating did knacker them today.
yeah, wiped them out. So
Definitely not up for a game.
they apologised earlier, and it was like, no, obviously it's fine.
Yeah,
It's cool.
We're
Don't worry
through.
about it.
yeah.
But yes,
We're
hopefully
very happy.
we'll have an M next week for episode 77 of the Chronicles of Nidum. 77 fucking episodes.
Can you believe it?
No.
I also cannot.
Nope.
But yes. Ooh. Hang on. So this is the first Sunday. Next week will be episode 77 of the Chronicles of Nidum, and then the week after, I get to play again.
Hey!
Oh, and that's the only other thing. We have decided we will be doing a Christmas one-shot this year, and I will be running it.
Millie's being very cagey about what's involved.
Yeah.
She's asked us all to give her a character, race, and name, and apparently we're not allowed to choose anything other than that.
A race name, and you can do a physical description.
Okay. What did I say? I said something called Brian.
You said an
Aarakocra named Brian.
Aarakocra named Brian. There we go. That's
Yeah.
But yes, Millie goes all in for Christmas one-shots.
Yes.
My
Are you going
entire
to send the
house.
gingerbread? Are you going to send the gingerbread to my house? Like, how are we going to arrange this?
I'll see what I can do. I mean, no promises on anything because I'm just not telling you anything.
That's
The
true.
entire house smelled the gingerbread for so long after that.
It's great.
I can't
I was-
believe Greg wasn't ill.
I was burping gingerbread for about a week.
You
I,
ate so much.
That's the great thing about gingerbread, though. It's got ginger in it, and ginger's good for your tummy. So
calms your tummy, which counteracted the huge amount of cookie that I ate.
It is the only way
Yeah,
you survive that. I
I'm
think.
gonna, I don't care if people don't actually care about bump updates, but
We do. Everyone cares about bump updates.
Yeah,
Charlie.
you need to step back a little bit more, baby, so that we can properly see.
Yeah.
That bump.
Look at the whole griffin that's in there.
Yeah.
Oh, Griffin.
Yeah, if you have a whole griffin in there, we're in trouble.
He's the size of a carrot now.
He's the size of an axe head now.
Yeah, an axe head the size of a carrot.
My bump's actually starting to go hard now.
She's finally had people in work say, "Oh, when are you due?" You know, not people she works with, like customers and stuff.
Customers,
You've
yeah,
got
which
it,
is
you've
really
got it.
hard to resist the urge to go. I'm not pregnant.
Just say it.
Do it, yeah. You've gotta
Say it,
Like,
and
you
then
would-
upsell them something to make you because of the insult.
Traumatize them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only get a couple of months of your entire life where you can make that joke.
I'm so happy to tell people because I'm excited. I'm over halfway now. Halfway there.
Yay! Whoa! Lizard on a chair.
Bring on March. Which I have said, if I go into labour on a Sunday, I'll keep playing.
That's
Yeah,
good.
well,
but
until it's like active labour, and then
Yeah, no, I'm not going to
Please
push it out on stream.
there's a lot of pitfalls around our labour because if she goes into labour on a Sunday, that's going to be a problem for D&D. The baby's due the day before the last Wales match in the Six Nations, so
Nightmare.
obviously she can't give birth that day.
No.
She can't go into labour 3 days early because that's Meg's birthday, and Meg has told me
share a birthday.
Meg has told me that if the baby tries to come on her birthday, she's going to ship it to Guatemala.
I think if I do go into a labour on a Sunday, I think chat would be okay with the stream being stopped for that.
yeah,
Yeah. Charlie sitting there goes,
I mean,
my water just broke. We're going.
there's
Goodbye.
Wi-Fi at the hospital, and I have an iPad, so I could play from the hospital.
Oh
God,
my
can
god!
you imagine the other people on the ward being like, what is this bitch doing?
What is going on in that room?
I'm killing dragons. Shut up.
The
Oh,
27.
Hey, Biggie.
Biggie, I'm due on the 18th,
Is
so maybe.
March 17th your birthday, Biggie?
My due date is the 18th.
Yeah.
But yes, it is late. Thank you.
Gotta go make egg
Obviously,
sandwiches.
as always, thank you everyone. Thank you to everyone who has watched. Thank you to everyone who will watch. Please stay tuned, obviously, to Heavyweight RPG as they start bringing more and more games back. There will be
Including one that me and Bri are in.
yes.
Yeah, you can learn to play Pathfinder, aren't you?
News on that will be forthcoming. I've never played Pathfinder. It could be fun. But yeah, as always, take care, stay safe, look after each other. We love you guys.
Look after yourselves.
Look after yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Love
Bye.
you. Waffle loves you too.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, Rebecca, don't care. Bye.